Hello and welcome to Fire Breathing Kittens, an actual play podcast. Every episode microplot is a complete adventure with a beginning, an end that fits into an overarching macro plot of the whole season. Because they stand sturdily on their own, you can listen to them in any order and skip any you don't enjoy. Today we are playing the combat mechanics from a game called Daggerheart, being developed by Darrington Press in conjunction with Critical Role. It's our first time playing, so we might make some mistakes. Please note that this is a playtest of Daggerheart version 1.4, which is in active development, so some of the rules may change by the time this episode airs. If you enjoyed these mechanics, you can find the current edition of Daggerheart on daggerheart.com. Build your own Daggerheart character and play with friends. Speaking of friends, today we are joined by Qigiq Steele.
Hello all. Qigiq is a medium height male. He seems to be a huntsman of some sort, dressed in leathers, long bow, long sword, has a ridiculously large chocobo who accompanies him everywhere, and his coloration is, you'd think he's human, but his coloration, there's something wrong. His hair is silver, his eyes are lavender, and notably his ears are visibly disfigured. Something obviously happened to him in the past, which has caused a disfigurement that he doesn't seem to pay any mind to.
Very cool. Very interesting. And Sadie Duca.
Hey, everybody. I'm definitely Sadie Duca. I'm an elf with long white hair, pale skin, and ears as wide and flat as the horizon. My 10 vocab words for you today are limb means bloodhound, spleen means anger, trigon is a triangle, hemes is winter, eknown is aware, fable is the palm of your hand, gib is a tomcat, livings is possessions, mo is make faces, and of wax is handsome. By the end of this season, I'm going to understand Shakespeare stuff, probably.
Well, you're already way ahead of me, Sadie. Last but not least, Arethor Qigiq.
Hello, it's lovely to be here today. I'm a medium-height calico catfolk person in a somewhat rumpled but used to be very nice suit. I look forward to hanging out and adventuring with everybody today.
Wonderful, and welcome to your first game, Arethor.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, can we all say our, builds? Just like a quick,
yeah.
I'm a wizard, subclass School of War.
I am a Wanderborn human ranger, beastbound, and I have no idea what you said, so, I understand the words. I have no idea on the mechanics of a wizard of the School of War.
Yeah, the listeners can follow along if they want, yeah.
I am technically a bard, subclass wordsmith, so not the musical kind of bard, but the talking a lot kind of bard.
Because I'm a halfling, air quotes, I'm actually a Macritus elf, but because I'm a halfling, air quotes, everybody, you start with an extra hope. So we all start with 3 hope, just to let you know. I'm so cheerful.
That's on brand for her.
Nothing's going to keep me down.
So, as we start off, the fire-breathing kittens have been hired by a woman named Guardian Gwendolyn to assist with the disappearance of a powerful and dark artifact in Vigil Hall, the Academy of the Vigilance in the Kingdom of Albion, north of Gusau. Albion is a kingdom beset by powerful neighbors with dark designs, as well as a number of corrupt entities within its borders. It is protected by the Vigilance, a society of scholars, magic users, and adventurers who use the fortress Vigil Hall in the town of Silverwood Haven as their training academy. Guardian Gwendolyn is able to transport you all from Nicomoy to Silverwood Haven, but you're all given a chance to rest at the nearby inn called the Pen and Stein near the Vigil Hall. You're hardly settled in when the unmistakable shriek of a dragon tears through the air. Before you can even get out of the inn, the sound of powerful magic is added to the screaming, and through the window, you see a dragon with flames emerging from all its scales, and it's plummeting towards the Vigil Hall. In a moment, the Vigil Hall, a small fortress, is annihilated as the dragon slams into it, engulfing it in a huge explosion, sending burning debris everywhere. A large chunk of earth and pavement slams into the other side of the inn from where you all sit, sending you all fleeing as the place starts to collapse. As you flee the inn, you see several knights riding dragons are landing throughout the town of Silverwood Haven. They bear the mark of Discardia, the powerful empire far to the north, and one of the Vigilance's many enemies. These are the Dragon Knights, the elite deep strike force of the Black Throne of Discardia. You see one of the Dragon Knights land, cutting down a nearby Vigil acolyte trying to strike back at them. Easier than gutting a merchant tent of goblins. The knight laughs under their helmet as they shake the body of the dead human Vigil off their lance. Then they turn to you. I was hoping for a challenge, even after we had the Fire Drake Dragon take care of the other Vigils. Oh well, it looks like you scum will all have to do, they say as they raise their sword to attack. So, as part of Daggerheart's kind of core philosophy, instead of just asking all of you guys to make a knowledge roll, I'd like to ask, do you think any one of your characters, or more of your characters, might have fought a Dragon Knight in the past?
Not Qigiq.
Probably not Arethor either.
Sadie's got a pretty short history, so I'm confident that she has not.
Okay, in that case, we will have the person with the highest knowledge make an action roll. So this will be our first action roll. And I think the person with the highest knowledge is Sadie.
Hilariously. What am I doing as the knowledge person?
So you're going to roll. So this is the core mechanic of Daggerheart. So the person who's making the player that's making the roll does an action roll, which is they're going to roll 2d12. One of the d12s is the hope die, and one of the d12s is the fear die. So kind of like most d20 games, the goal is to get over a certain number, and then depending on which die is higher, the hope or the fear die, the player will gain a hope. Or if it's fear, the DM will gain a fear, and we'll get to that when someone rolls with fear.
Okay. And I've got a lot of stuff that happened if I get a 1 on a hope dice, so I'm just saying that out loud so I remember it. And my hope dice was a 5, so that doesn't happen. And I got a 10 on my fear dice, so that's a 15 overall?
So that's a 15 with fear.
Yeah.
Because you did succeed, but your fear die was higher than your hope die. So one of two things can happen, Sadie. I can take a fear, which basically means at some point in our game, I'll be spending that fear to have a consequence or something, an obstacle will appear in the party. Alternatively, instead of taking a fear, we can say that the way Sadie had got this knowledge was through some unpleasant circumstances, and she will have some consequences immediately. So that choice is up to you.
Okay. The dichotomy is... Wait, so say
So basically, the mechanic is when someone rolls with fear, the DM and the player discuss, does something immediately happen negative as a consequence?
But I thought did I succeed with
you
fear?
Succeeded.
Okay.
You succeeded with fear. Yeah. But this is anytime any roll is made with fear. Not just when you fail with fear. Anytime you succeed with fear. So succeeding with fear is like a partial success in other games where you succeed at what happened, but there's some sort of negative consequence either now or down the line. So, so like, again, this is a slight discussion with the player and the DM. Does Sadie kind of might have gotten this knowledge through some very negative circumstances, and she'll be a little, she'll suffer some immediate consequences for remembering this stuff? Or do I maybe that didn't happen, but I'm going to take a fear token that I'll be using later to make things interesting down the line?
Possibly against my team members. So I will not choose that option. I'm going to choose the immediate consequence that happens only to me.
All right. So at some point, Sadie did see somebody controlling a dragon, riding a dragon in a very similar way. Unfortunately, that experience was pretty traumatic for Sadie. However, she during that experience, one of the defenders knocked the Dragon Knight off of the dragon, and that caused the dragon to attack everything around it, including the knight, and then immediately flee. So That's the knowledge you get. However, this experience, and you can fill in the details, was traumatic enough that Sadie will have a vulnerable condition for this combat.
All right. What does vulnerable mean?
So vulnerable means anybody attacking Sadie will get advantage. And advantage in this game for either me or for either the DM or the players means rolling the regular die and adding a d6.
Okay, rolling a regular die. Okay. All right. Can I roleplay that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to say that Sadie seems like a very confident persona, right? She's like, oh yeah, drag in. She runs forward, right? And then she freezes and her body won't move. And she's like, the heck? Why won't my body move? And it's because there's a deep fear deep inside her. And she's like, really, really, Sadie? And from deep in her core, there's like this voice, and it whispers, dragon. And she's like, God, girl, we gotta like get you moving past all your PTSDs, as her body won't move. And thankfully the dragon trips on her, stumbles. Sadie gets like a little squished, but she's fine. Throws the knight off, and then the dragon, free of the rider, attacks the knight. So that's how that happened. Sadie just straight up was a doorstop and got tripped over by a dragon.
I love it.
All right.
So it worked out in the end, but it wasn't a fun time.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll begin combat. So initiative works a little, actually very different than most games. I have an action tracker I have an action tracker that I'll be keeping track of. Essentially, we just have whoever wants to go, but certain things that the NPCs can do will depend on how many people have gone already. So a rule of thumb is usually 2 players will go and then the DM goes, and those 2 players are in an order decided by the players. So with that in mind, who would like to go first?
If I could just ask, sorry, how many people are we facing?
Okay,
Sorry.
So also I got to throw some distances at you. Right now, there are a lot of people in the background because there are other Dragon Knights attacking Silverwood Haven. However, right now, in your immediate vicinity, there are the 3 of you plus the Dragon Knight and the large ice dragon that they're sitting on top of. And this knight's big, but he's not as big as the dragon. Or they're not as big as the dragon.
And how far away are they?
Good question. So this game uses distances, like kind of vague distances. So there's melee, very close, far, and very far. So currently you are close to the dragon and the knight on top of the dragon.
Awesome. Arethor would take a few steps backwards and then look at this ice dragon and say, I think you're getting just a touch hot under the collar, and then dips into a sort of unknowable language that's almost sub-audible, and that is going to create a lot of psychosomatic heat inside of this ice dragon, which mechanically, for those who are curious, is like a fireball. So now I believe I roll my two d12s plus my spell casting, which for me is presence.
Yep.
And okay. That is a 15 plus 4 is 19 with fear.
19 with fear. Okay. So in combat, fear, another thing with the DM can do is they can take a fear and then go after the person went, or they can kind of bank the fear. But that happens after you do after the player finishes their action. I'm just saying, just because this is the first combat action roll. So keep going, Arethor.
Sure. So now the dragon needs to make a reaction roll with a DC of 12 with full damage on success, on failure, half damage on success.
So you're attacking the dragon and not the knight?
I am. It's a single target, so I'm attacking the ice dragon with this mental fire.
Another thing to note, the players are rolling 2d12. and gaining hope or fear, or giving the DM fear, the DM does not roll 2d12. The DM actually rolls a d20 for all their rolls. And that is a very low number. So Arethor is successful.
So that is a 16 on my 3d8 of damage.
6. So the way damage works is there are minor, major, and severe thresholds. And if you get between a minor and a major, that's going to end up dealing 1 damage in this case to the dragon. So the dragon, it's well above the minor, but it is below their major threshold. So so mechanically, that's taking 1 point of damage. Arethor, you can describe how this scene plays out role-playing wise. Describe it if you want.
I would say the dragon will rear up slightly and its skin will begin to blister, although there's no visible sign of any kind of fire.
Very cool. It is roaring. It is roaring mad. I will not activate at this time, and I will give someone else, another player, a chance to go. So right now on our action tracker, we just have 1 token, which is Arethor's.
Okay, Qigiq would like to go, so I'm going to have to walk through this one step at a time because it gets complicated. So I am going to make a spellcast roll to connect with Fluff and command them to take action to get people out of danger. Have Fluff, start hurting them. I'm going to spend a hope to connect it with his experience of friendly to hopefully get them to go where he's trying to push them. And then on a success, if I succeed, if I roll it with hope, it immediately allows me to take an action without using an action token. That's one of the companion rules.
That's interesting, yeah.
So
I didn't know that.
My spellcasting roll, that's a good question. I can see my spellcasting roll in a different ability, so I can use that, correct?
Yes.
So I spend the hope, and then I spellcast roll.
Mm-hmm.
And roll. And I got an 18 with hope.
Awesome.
An 11 and a 4. The 11 is the hope die. So Fluff will go around and do that. I don't know if there's anything I have to roll. It says
I don't think
add
so.
applicable companion experience to the roll. Oh, when he takes his action. So his action is to just run around. I'm not sure that's a rolled thing.
Right.
He's pushing people out of the inn and that kind of thing. And then that should trigger that allows me to take an action immediately without using an action token per his companion rules.
Everything is perfect. Yeah, I think I like the idea that the civilians that are being herded out by Fluff are shouting, "The fire-breathing kittens are here to help us," and with the vigilance, and they're giving Qigiq some spirit that lets him take another action.
And then Qigiq sees our companion in her difficulty, and Qigiq is just like shakes his head. Fluff is doing what he's supposed to, and Qigiq will try to take the knight out, with a well-placed shot.
Okay, and you're in close range, so that should be enough for your ranged attack.
Yeah, my ranged attack is up to very far, so.
Yep.
And no advantage, nothing. I don't have anything going. Let's see what I get. I got a 19 with hope.
Very cool.
Now, does that give me another hope token because I've succeeded with hope?
Yes. So whenever and if you spend a hope for your experience or any other reason, and then you gain a hope, essentially they suggest, don't even bother, just hold on to the hope token. So yeah. But okay. I don't think in that case you didn't do that. You just spent I spent a hope to activate the companion because I had to. Gotcha. So you just get that previous hope back.
Right. It just replaced. And then I rolled damage, I assume? Or is there another piece to his reaction?
Yes. Nope, that's it. All you need to do is roll damage.
Okay. 12 damage.
12 damage. Okay. So mechanically it's a minor. It does minor damage, which is 1 hit point out of a certain relatively small amount. So you can role play that however you like.
So he, Qigiq is like, of course, tells Fluff to get the people out, and he shakes his head, he draws down on his bow, and he's aiming obviously for center of mass, but something with probably the way the dragon reared when it got hit with the fire attack, the arrow just thunks right into the guy's leg in his saddle, and Qigiq's like, well, it's a start, and is as evasive as he hopefully can be. He's a little worried about dragon breath. He's heard rumors.
So at this point, I do, and FYI, fear is a public knowledge, meaning you always know how much fear the DM has. Currently, I have 1 fear, but I am going to choose, and 2 action tokens on the action chart. But I am going to choose to let the party take another turn. I want to.
Interesting.
So Sadie has not gone yet, but it's not required for Sadie to go, but that's the way the game encourages the players to look at the action tracker, see who hasn't gone, and then have that person go.
Yeah. I can go. So even though I can't move because I am paralyzed with fear still, I look at the dragon and the knight, and honestly, I want to know, is this a trained animal or is this comrade? Are these people sort of like how when you bake a cake, someone bakes the cake and someone decorates the cake and someone sells the cake? They have different roles, but they're all making a cake. Is this dragon and rider all making a cake together because they're companions, or is this an animal that's being saddled and bridled and forced to attack us?
So good question. So I will say, because Sadie's a very experienced wizard, this is something that, and she's been around quite a bit. From that previous experience, everything that tells her it's the second that this dragon doesn't like being here. It is not here as part of their will. And that's why it gets very wild as soon as the knight is dismounted, and then just leaves because they don't want to be here.
Ooh, okay. I have a plan. I'm going to... So technically what this is my rolled ranged attack, right, mechanically. But in story, what's happening is that I'm going to squint and look. And I see a lot of things that other people don't see. And so I'm going to look and see. Now, this location, you mentioned that it was a hall, a defensive hall. It was a settlement. So probably they've killed a lot of rats here. Wherever there are people, there are a lot of dead rat ghosts.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to be like, man, there's 1,000 dead rats here. So I'm just going to poke at the air a little bit and just be poke, poke. And I'm just going to let the Pied Piper in reverse. I'm just going to let a lot of rats into this reality. And I'm going to specifically attack the bridles and saddles of the dragons. So it'll be a swarm of rats crawling on the dragons, eating the leather straps, gnawing through everything, leaving just the bits of metal behind on the ground. Rats can actually eat leather, right? So just well-fed rats.
Probably.
Welcome to the world.
So, yeah.
I got a meal for you. That's the plan. I'm going to roll this attack roll on the bridle and saddle bits of the dragons. So that's, if that makes sense, by poking the air. And a bunch of rats exist.
Are you using a spell, or just kind of is she using her great staff?
Technically, it's a great staff. It's a very far range, so that's how this is able to happen. I am a powerful, so I'm rolling 5 and I'm dropping the lowest one. So first I'm going to roll that to hit, which is the 2d12s, the fear and the hope, right?
Yes.
Okay. I roll that, and I got a 10 and a 6. Again, this is rolling with fear to succeed, but that's okay because I deal an extra 2d10 magical damage when I roll with fear to succeed. So the question is, does a 16 hit?
Since you're attacking the knight, yes, it does.
Okay.
I know you're technically attacking the bridle, but I'm using the knight's difficulty / AC as the target number. But either way, it works. It succeeds.
Okay, I do an extra 2d10
Oh,
of
wow.
magic damage. I'm going to roll that first. That is 9.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then I'm going to roll my powerful. So I roll 5 and I drop the lowest. Well, the lowest is a 2. So I'm going to drop. Holy cow. Okay, I got to math for a second here. Give me a second, guys. Oh my. That's 21, right?
21,
6 plus
okay.
4 plus 5 plus 6 is 21. Yeah.
And Sadie,
Plus
sorry,
9.
Sorry, did you roll with hope or fear? I forgot. I think you
Fear.
said it, but you rolled with fear. Okay, so now I
Yeah.
currently have 2 fear. All right,
that-
so yeah, go ahead.
It's 21 plus 9, so that's like
Oh, 21 plus 9.
it's like 30 damage to by the rats from the gnawing, and I'm like, get him.
So
Still can't move.
So Sadie, mechanically, you did severe damage to him, to the knight, and the bridle is and stuff. It is revoked from existence. The rats chew it to nothing. If you want to add more description, this is again Daggerheart strongly encourages the players to role play any action roll. So mechanically, that's what happens. You can fill in the details.
Okay, rats appear from out of thin air. They swarm over the bodies of the dragon and the knights, gnawing at everything that is delicious leather. I mean, the dragon scales, come on, they don't want to eat that. But the bridle, the saddle, the stirrups, oh heck yeah. The reins get chewed to nothing, and the rats are welcomed into this reality. You're welcome. What can I say about you're welcome?
So here's what happened. The knight spills his butt off of the dragon, goes crashing down. Now, because you rolled with fear, I can essentially do a couple of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove 3 action. I'm going to remove all. I'm going to spend a fear. And this allows me to do what's called a GM move. In Daggerheart, a GM move is basically anything that NPCs, enemies or not, do. And it's usual, or the environment does. Something that happens to the players. In combat, it's almost always the environment, something in the environment happening, or an NPC attacking. So I'm going to spend a fear to do that. And what's going to happen is while the knight is trying to get up, the dragon looks really mad, and he's going to use all 3 action tokens. So now the action tracker is empty. He is going to use a blizzard breath. But here's the good thing. It's hitting everybody, including the knight. So
Yay.
Everybody will have to make what's called a reaction roll. So reaction rolls, and I'm pretty sure You roll the regular dice, but it doesn't produce hope or fear. It's just like a regular roll that you normally would do. So everybody needs to make a very high agility reaction roll. And that's just adding your agility.
Okay, we get to try a mechanic here. Does this still apply? I rolled 9s on both of my D12s.
Ah, you got a critical.
Ooh.
So criticals are... so first off, you get a hope, Arethor. Second of all, you succeed, so you avoid the blizzard breath. Now, normally you would mark 2 stress or take half damage. So I'll give you the chance to just take half damage or take 2 stress.
Take the damage or 2 stress?
No, sorry, that's what you normally get. So, you completely avoid it.
Woo. I'll take it.
Yep. So you don't have to mark stress or damage.
Awesome.
And how about Qigiq?
Qigiq got a 12. And you said the hope and fear side doesn't matter.
The hope and fear side doesn't matter for this reaction roll. Okay, so you are going to take 18 damage.
Does my armor then count on that? Or was that a major hit then?
Yeah, so
Well,
you can use...
it's a major even with the armor. It's
right.
It's going to drop it to 16. It's still major. So that means I take, as major, I take 2 hit point damage.
Yep.
Do I take stress?
You do not take stress.
And Fluff takes 2 stress because he doesn't take hit point damage. He just takes stress.
Ah, okay.
So you could use your armor slots to reduce the damage if you wanted to make it not a major.
What's your major threshold? Mine is 8.
Mine is
Me too.
8. So bringing an 18 down to
Nah.
It'd be a
an
lot
8,
of points.
I don't have that much
Yeah.
armor.
Right. And Sadie?
Well, so I rolled a 4 and a 2, and I was like, wow, I really hope I have a strong bonus to my agility. And I look, and it's a -2, so that's like a 4 overall.
The number was way higher than you ever could have had, so it wouldn't have mattered. So you will also take...
I mean,
So
it makes
Sadie
sense.
will take...
I'm literally standing there, PTSD frozen, unmoving, tripping dragons.
27.
Okay, I have 3 armor, and I have a severe damage threshold of 23. So if I used my armor twice, does that mean I drop it below my severe damage threshold?
You cannot use armor twice, unfortunately.
Never mind. That means that I take 3 damage.
Yep.
Okay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hit points, so I'm at 4 out of 7. The cold wind blows past us. Sadie's elf white hair whips out behind her, and the tips of her ears start to freeze. She's taking frostbite damage.
Okay, and the knight also takes... The knight is not really able to defend themselves because Sadie's rats dumped him onto the ground. He takes a ridiculous amount of damage. Yikes. He is not looking good. So now I'm going to bank that. I still have a fear in my pool, but I will allow one of you, the party, to go now. The knight lost his action trying to get up and being blasted with ice.
I would propose that Arethor, being the only one who managed to successfully do anything with that he would be the one with the opportunity.
Yes, I'm looking at my things to see if I have something in particular that will also help my friends. But right now, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk up to the knight, so I get into melee range.
Okay.
With the knight. And then I'm just going to kind of whisper, "Go away," and make a roll to push him far away. That is a 21 with fear.
21 with fear. Are you using is he using a spell?
Yes.
Okay. What spell is it?
Power push from my
Power
book
push,
of
okay.
Ava.
So that just literally trying to look up your card here.
It's just on a success. I get to do damage and blast them back.
Okay. Oh, no damage, just blast them back.
Nope, there is damage.
Okay.
It does 3d10,
All right.
which for me is 17. And,
17.
Blasts them back to far range.
So you've taken him out of the fight. You've taken out of the fight, Arethor. So he gets blasted back. You can take it from there.
So what you see is this injured knight struggling to get up off the ground after being attacked by their own dragon, ragdoll, thrown back and just crumpled to the ground, not getting back up again. And then Arethor daintily takes a couple of steps away from the angry dragon. 2 hands up. It's all right, friend. I'm sorry about before. Let's just be friends.
So, and you rolled with fear, right, Arethor?
I did.
Okay. That's fine. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to spend 1 fear now that your turn's complete. The dragon seems to call down ice and snow that you didn't even know was there on this warm spring day. Comes crashing, seems to form out of nowhere and comes crashing down on the party. Everyone makes an instinct reaction roll. So same as the agility, only you're rolling instinct.
So much worse. 8.
8.
Oh, I have a thing. Might not be able to use it. Can I shout, "Beware, Heim's thin and icy crown," and use teleport to make a spellcast roll to move myself and a number of willing targets within close range to a place known to me?
Is that a reaction?
It doesn't
listed a
say what
reaction on
speed
there?
it is. It is a spell. It's level 5. It's my Ultima spell. Says, on a success, you appear where you were intending to go. On a failure, you don't. So, I don't know. You can
know
choose
what?
a speed. I don't know.
That sounds like fun. Go for it.
All right, I shout, Heim's thin and icy crown. And then I roll a spellcast roll. And it's, do I add my spellcast modifier to that? Is that what
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I fail. That is a 15, and I write 6 plus 6 plus 3 is 15. I needed a 16. So, it says, oh, wait, if I know the place very well, take +5. If I visited the place frequently, take +3. I just want to move us out of area of the thing. Do I not fail? This is tricky. So make a spellcast roll, add this modifier. If I just take us back to like the inn we were sleeping in, or wait, no, is that what's being attacked?
Well, the inn is now a pile of burning rubble.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe like next to that.
Sure.
Okay. Well, then
I'll
that
give
would
you-
be,
yeah.
I visited the place infrequently, take +1, and that would bump me up to a 16, which would meet it to beat it.
Perfect.
On a success, you appear where you were intending to go. On a failure, you're off course, with the range of failure signifying how far off course. So, GM, if you want to dump us in a mud puddle, that's fair. But I think I did meet it to beat it. It's just visited the place infrequently,
Okay.
take +1. I don't know. I don't know. Daggerheart. For the
I
first
think
time.
it's so here's what's gonna happen for you guys. The avalanche kind of comes out of nowhere. Sadie casts her spell, and kind of similar to what she said, you know, I'm gonna spend a fear to make this a complication.
Ooh.
You appear in the inn. Unfortunately, the inn is burning rubble.
Out of the Heims into the fire.
So I do have what I did create here is the environment of Silverwood Haven that is now on fire and reeling from an attack. And the way these things work is the environment is almost like a character of itself. So one of the things is avoiding. You're avoiding a lot of falling things so far. As Sadie vanishes you, teleports you off to where the inn was, part of it immediately starts to collapse because of the shock waves of the magic. So everyone will make another agility reaction roll. And I promise
So
this is the
did
last
you still
for now.
need that instinct one or no?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I do need an instinct one from you.
I had rolled a 10.
You'd rolled a 10.
Why did I bother to use this?
Oh, you know what? It doesn't matter. Yeah, because that's just to determine if you're buried in snow or rocks. Sadie moves you, so you don't have to worry about it.
And then we have a new
But
agility.
you have a new agility
I
roll.
did
yeah.
move you into a burning building, so
I'm a 23 agility save.
The nimble cat avoids more falling stuff.
6.
17.
So Sadie, you'll take. I'm just coming off of this at the top of my head. Oh no, it's right here. 8 damage from a falling part of what used to be the Penenstein's chimney.
I will check off one of my 7 armor boxes to spend 3 armor and drop that down to a minor damage. I only lose 1 HP, so I'm at 3 out of 7 hit points.
And as you recover, you see the dragon he's had enough of this crap. They just take to the air. The Dragon Knight is still, you don't know what their status is because you're kind of far. But as you finish off the Dragon Knight, as the dragon leaves, other Dragon Knights kind of turn in the direction of the fire-breathing kittens. But as you brace for an attack, you hear the blast of war horns. Somehow the nearby Thunderclap Orc clan has arrived, and you see a bunch of really cool-looking orcs on giant wargs rush into the scene. And their leader, who's pretty big for an orc, says, "Iffy, fire-breathing kitten warriors! I am Champion Tarlash. These honorless Jano Dragon Knights are small in number, but they can do some damage." The other Dragon Knights kind of look like they are hesitating to attack. So now it's up to you guys how you want to react to this new player on the scene.
So just to understand, we are still standing in a burning inn.
Well, I think
And
it's
these wargs come up on the outside, and the dragon riders aren't rushing in, probably because of the wargs. But we're still standing in a burning inn.
I think it's safe to say you guys moved out of the burning inn area. So you're a little bit on the streets, yeah. Unless you wanted to stay in the burning inn, probably not.
No, burning inns are not my favorite.
Not good. Yeah.
So we're standing outside the burning inn, and there's some dragons and there's some knights. Everyone's kind of chaotic. So I'm going to shout to the dragons, "Lizards, vent your spleen upon your captors." I have no charisma. It's just me shouting.
Is that a spell? Okay,
No.
It's just you shouting. Go ahead, Arethor.
I'm thinking. I'm still looking
okay.
at
I thought
my various options on this character
This
sheet,
is-
where most of my cards have like 3 separate abilities on them.
Well, one principle of Daggerheart is kind of you don't necessarily need to like always be looking at your sheet, and your cards are definitely going to be giving you powerful and interesting abilities, but kind of you use your experiences, your character's experiences to kind of do what you feel like your character would do in that moment.
Yeah, I think that probably seeing all these orcs and wargs riding up, presumably on our side, I'll step out and look to the leader of the orcs, and call out, "Champion Talash, send your armies against these foes. We need to quickly deal with them to protect the others." And I'm going to spend a hope to add my convincing experience to a presence roll to try and convince him to send people off.
So I think this is the first time we've used experience so far in this game. So to let the audience know, experience is every character has a list of experiences with bonuses. And to use those experiences, you need to convince the DM that it's usable in this instance of the action roll you want to do. And then you spend a hope. And Arethor, that works perfectly. So go for it. So you'll spend your hope and you'll get your bonus.
Okay. So I'm going to spend a hope for that. And I'm also going to spend another hope to use my Heart of a Poet to add another D4.
Okay.
So I've rolled quite well, actually. So I've rolled with hope, and +4 presence and +3 convincing is 7. I rolled a 4 on my D4 is 11. And then 15 on my 2 is 26 with hope.
Wow.
To convince this orc to send the orcs in.
So orc warriors don't really need to be convinced that hard to fight. So you give him like Arethor gives him like a kind of like a boost. He says, "You don't need to tell us twice, Catman." He takes out his scythe, points to the nearest dragon knight, and yells an orcish, charge. His wargs go and charge one of the dragons.
The lizards.
Another nearby dragon knight gets taken out with a lightning bolt. And then as the dragon kind of does something similar to the way the dragon you fought, and the dragon starts flying away, and you turn to see the source of the lightning bolt, and you see Gwendolyn, the woman who originally hired you back in Nicomoy. She looks like her clothes are burned. She looks like she's covered in ash and blood. She is not in great shape, but she is doing her best to kind of beat back the attack.
How far away is she?
Combat wise, I'd say like she's very far. So I would say like, about like a 50 to 70 yards away.
So Qigiq will launch himself up onto Fluff to go and close that distance and either bring her to us or find out where she suggests, being our employer, where she needs the help. But first I got to get there.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm Mount Fluff. I don't know if you need any rolls. There's experiences that could count in if that was the case, but I do a move action, I guess. It's very to get over to her and pull up and Gwendolyn, do you need a hand?
She says, between the orcs and the defenders, I think the attack is going away, but we need to rescue some civilians. Please rescue as many civilians as you can while I try and get this fire under control.
That we're very good at. Let me go get my companions and we'll get on the rescue mission. And I will return on Fluff and, Gwendolyn says we should help get the normal people to safety.
Can I have a description of the scene? All right, so I'm standing outside a burning building that I teleported us all to because we were being attacked by an ice dragon, and there's orcs rushing. Are we in a city? Are there other buildings near us? Are we like in a street, or are we in like a field with a building?
Good questions. It's like a small city / large town that it was, I was going to say is built. It was built around the Vigil Hall, which is now burning wreckage. So yeah, you guys are in the streets of this town, and several of the buildings nearby are on fire. Others have been just collapsed or partially collapsed. And
Vigil Hall is destroyed, and Silverwood Haven is also destroyed.
Silverwood Haven isn't completely destroyed, but it is not in great shape.
Is there other...
Pen and Stein is destroyed.
Yeah, Pen and Stein
as is Vigil Hall.
Yep.
Is there any other obvious buildings which are going to be good to bring the people to shelter them?
So, yes. And this is another principle of Daggerheart, is sometimes the DM will elicit some descriptions of the area or the location or NPC from the players. So if anybody has an idea of a building nearby that like Qigiq describes, they can throw that out there if they like. If not, I can supply it.
I'm kind of picturing this whole town being sort of a Nordic vibe. So what I'm picturing is like there's a longhouse somewhere.
A longhouse underground.
Okay, that's not what I was picturing, but okay.
Well, okay, so like this is my problem with Attack on Titan and stuff like that, is there's a bunch of stuff going on and everyone's like, oh no, there's giants attacking our city. I'm just going to be in this house, I guess. Go underground or leave the area. So like, I'm just saying, subway.
Perhaps we find a longhouse that has a large like cellar underneath it, where we could potentially hide folks.
That's such a great idea, Sadie. So while you're trying to figure out the best place to rescue people in, you see a severely damaged longhouse, but you see kind of like, this is more of a cantrip spell. Apprentices love to do this as pranks. It's kind of like shooting off a firework, but it's coming from inside the longhouse. And that's what you guys see. So it's kind of like a firework kind of shoots out from this rubble.
Okay. Do we see any folks nearby that we could gather that are mobile? Or do we need to go and try and carry people out? What does it look like there?
It's a little hard to see because the place is smoking and mostly in rubble. So you'd have to kind of go in there to see what's going on exactly.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's see if we can grab some civilians and take them towards this longhouse, potentially, I suppose. Come, any who can walk, bring those that are injured. Follow us.
I'm injured. I'm at half health, you guys.
So GM, Qigiq is, not being able to see where all the necessary people are, the people that need help. There's partially collapsed buildings. Qigiq is going to, look to nature for some help, and Qigiq's going to, get off Fluff and is going to spend a hope to cast a spell, Natural Familiar, and I'm going to make a little like snow rabbit, a snowshoe hare or something to come up. I'm going to put a little sign on him, follow me, and instruct him to go follow people in the hard to reach places and lead them out towards, towards us. And then I'm going to start doing the same thing, but with buildings that I can get get to easily and try to get this rescue operation moving, because standing here in the street, Qigiq's not determined that's the way it's going to work.
Sure.
So, yeah, it summons a nature spirit or forest critter to my side. He'll hang around till the next short rest. And, I'm not going to make him fly or anything. So, there's lots of things you can do with him. But right now, I just need him to be able to go through little areas and go faster than I can, because he can squeeze through tiny spaces.
Gather your livings and come flee with your lives.
Sure. We can, in the interest of kind of moving this along, we can say that between the three of you, all your suggestions are helps secure a lot of people. You're able to move the civilians along. Eventually, the Dragon Knights kind of flee, the ones that aren't killed or destroyed, or killed or shaken off. A lot of civilians are feeling bad. You save quite a bit of civilians. Eventually, once things calm down, you're able to meet Guardian Gwendolyn once more. She looks worn down. She looks beaten down. She's tough. She's depressed because pretty much almost everybody she knows has been killed in this attack. She looks despondent when she asks, well, I don't know what... She says, I don't know what else we can do. I hired you to try and save the Vigil Hall, but now it's destroyed. And she looks really... As you can imagine, she's really down on the dumps. Just to set the scene a little bit, she's outside that long hall you were able to move a lot of the civilians towards.
Qigiq will kind of like elbow Arethor a little bit and say, come on, say something to her. Pick her up.
Guardian Gwendolyn, surely this is a difficult time. Vigil Hall was a building. Perhaps the tenets that truly held it up are something that can be maintained and a hall rebuilt. You mentioned, I believe there was something in a contract about an artifact of some kind. Is that still of any value to you in restoring things? I feel like we need more information to move forward in support of your work.
Yes, the artifacts that were missing were very important, but the only person who would have more knowledge of it now is the Alchemist, and he is in Hush. Hush is a town nearby that you know from the maps, but not much else. And she says, we need to get information. The only thing I can ask you to, and this would be of great help, and we would be willing to pay even more than what we initially paid, is if you choose to accept it, you could take the mission to go to Hush to connect with the Alchemist. They have a seeing stone that could be used to speak to notify the rest of the vigilance of what's happened here.
So, you'd like us to go and speak to this alchemist, gather the seeing stone to inform the other vigilants, so that perhaps they may focus on the work to be done here and return to the site of Vigil Hall?
Yes, that would be helpful, but even here, there's a lot to do, and I don't know if there'll be another attack.
Why are you being attacked?
Our country is beset on many sides by a lot of dark forces. The Kingdom of Discardia always hated us, but they've always been they've never directly wanted to pick a fight with the Vigilance or our kingdom, but it looks like times have changed. I can only imagine that some of those missing artifacts stopped us from being alerted of this early assault.
Okay, so Discardia has been prevented from attacking you by the artifacts, and if we get the artifacts, maybe things will go back to the old status quo?
It could be.
Where does this hatred stem from Discardia to your nation? It seems like the problem lies there.
Yeah.
Not in what gizmos and gadgets you keep in a box.
Yeah, what did you do to Discardia to deserve this? Maybe we got to ask them.
She looks offended, and she says, we protect we protect our kingdom from all sorts of evils and darkness, and Discardia is conquering everything. And one of the reasons that they hate us is because we try and stop many of the dark magics they use to to assist in their conquests.
Do you have to do that?
Who else will?
And you say their magics are dark, but is this are they known? Maybe I'm at a failure to understand your socio-economic problem, and by all means, we're a little mercenary, so we're good with helping you, but I think there might be a whole lot easier way to solve this. Have you ever tried diplomacy with Discardia and said, hey, we're willing to take your help and help you back, and we want to maintain our sovereignty and actually be a participant in this? Or are they all like sacrifice your people, and we're gonna cut them open and use their entrails for dark magical purposes? Or is this more a general? They're just dark.
Yeah, you guys are fighting like a limb and a gib. Why?
I'm not sure what that means.
No one is. Just ignore her.
She says, well, the last ambassador we sent, they sent their pickled head back to the head general in a box. So not really one of those friendly nations. Diplomacy would be preferable, but with some people, it just seems like it's shoveling dirt against the tide.
So I guess the places that are conquered live in abject fear and are just, bad guys all around, rampant. Or do they live a normal life just under a different government?
Sadie, you were saying something?
Oh, well, I think we already know what Gwendolyn's answer is going to be, Qigiq. Of course, absolute tyranny. But I also want to ask about these orcs. I noticed that there's a third party here. This Champion Tarlash and their Thunderclap Orc clan on giant wargs. Is that a conquered nation that came here to support you against the tyranny of Discardia? Or, like, what's up there? Is that one of your fiefs? You guys just neighbors?
She looks pretty proud. She says Albion uses the name kingdom, but we are actually a confederation of several different provinces and other self-governing entities. The Orc Clan Alliance are one of those entities.
Okay, so let's get some of these wargs on the task of getting that, not of course that we're going to fail, but just in case, let's get these wargs taking the message that you were attacked to the other, what are they called? Vigilance. So get that message out, send the wargs, take the message, and we'll go get your artifact, I guess, location from the Seeing Stone of the Alchemist in Hush, right?
Yes, I believe so. The Alchemist is both the holder of the Seeing Stone as well as the holder of information about the whereabouts of missing artifacts. Is that accurate?
Yes, and I would prefer, because the fire-breathing kittens are so good at these types of missions, I would prefer if the fire-breathing kittens went to Hush to speak with the Alchemist, and the orcs on the wargs stay here to defend the city and try to mitigate some of the damage that has been done.
I know. I have a solution. Do you guys see those chocobos over there? They look a lot like Fluff.
I do, yes. They're quite magnificent.
Oh, darn, those are real. Wait, what about those ones over there?
No, I don't see anything.
Perfect. All right. Those definitely exist. Give me a second. I'm just going to conjure some chocobos. And now there's dozens of chocobos. We can tie notes to their what is on a chocobo. Ostrich legs. And send them to the other vigilance.
The vigilance are connected. The Seeing Stone is more of a CB radio stone, perhaps, that directly connects with the other vigilance. Is that accurate? So both things are in Hush?
Yes, they're all in hush. She thinks about it. She says, that's not a bad plan. However, it might take some time for those chocobos to find the Arcanist.
I just like backups. It's just a backup. If I die in hush, I'm at half hit points. If I die in hush, you've still got chocobos. A week later, they'll arrive. I'm just saying.
Oh, I see. She says, there's a reason you fire-breathing kittens are so renowned. That is an excellent idea.
I can probably get the chocobos going the right direction, but they'll do better with somebody with them. I'm not sure if you can spare people, but we can work through that. But I did notice originally you said we were looking for an alchemist, and then you changed to arcanist, and I'm just making sure that was a slip of the tongue.
Yes, it's the alchemist. Alchemist, arcanist, those words sound too alike.
Gwendolyn got hit in the head during the battle. We're going to give her a break. Girl is tired.
I was just worried there were two different people we were looking for two different things, and I didn't understand.
No.
It's understandable.
I think if Arethor's player has it right, we go to Hush, where there is an Arcanist who has a stone for us to quickly communicate with the others, with the other vigilants, and then check. The Arcanist also has information about where the fire-breathing kittens should go to get artifacts.
Yes.
And if we get these artifacts, Discardia is going to stop attacking you because you'll have superior defenses.
Well, we'll just be more... at this point, they'll probably keep attacking, but at least we'll be able to hold them off better.
I think you're fighting a losing battle if you're not going to solve the problem at the core, but we do need to protect the people. So let me get these chocobos running. Do you have somebody with notes, or do you have riders?
We have a few, though I'm sure the Thunderclap Orc clan has more.
It's okay. The chocobos are really very self-guiding. Just tie a note to them. They can't talk. They're really bad at talking. They mostly make meep sounds, like the Muppet.
Fluff makes a double meep sound in protest.
And Fluff is as intelligent as Sadie or Arethor, so as we've established in past episodes.
If we require a roll, I do actually have an experience of chocobo trainer on my sheet.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Let's see it. I think I can help you. I can help you.
I think I can only help you if I can flirt with the chocobos.
Don't pet their backs or bellies. All right, once per short rest, after an ally attempts an action roll, but before the consequence takes place, you may offer assistance or words of support. When you do, they may re-roll their die. They must accept the result of this new roll. So if you really mess up, I'll use this reassurance on you.
I'm waiting to see if the GM wants a roll, and what kind of roll, because this is just an experience. I don't know what stat that would be fueled by.
So can you just recap exactly what the roll is for, Qigiq?
I'm not even sure there is a roll. We have this herd of, they're not phantasms. I think they're real now, but these Sadie created chocobos, and I'm worried about exactly what they are, because naturally they probably aren't. And but we need to train those to run off to the different nations. I have no idea how many there are or how far they are, but we're sending semi-guided message missiles to all the different nations, or all the different Confederation members.
As backup for the Seeing Stone in case something happens,
like
en
us
route
dying.
to Hush.
Not that we would die, I say, from half HP. Definitely not.
I'm looking forward to helping tend to your wounds during our short rest.
She's very
Sadie.
excited. So rolls are for, in my opinion, when we don't know what's going to happen. So I think I'd like the dice to determine if this will occur successfully. So the way it works is, I would say this is an instinct roll.
Okay. And I have to spend a hope to bring in the experience?
You have to spend a hope to bring in the experience, yeah.
Okay.
So if you spend that hope, you'd get an extra +1, because it says
Correct.
Chocobo Trainer is +1. So
Oh, wow.
you can,
Oh, wow. So the total is a 26 with hope.
Wow.
I rolled a 12 and an 11.
Oh, jeez.
Your experience with Fluff has made you so good at chocobo training.
I think Fluff did the training. Fluff went up and meeped to him, and they would nod their head, and Fluff imparted some of Fluff's intelligence to these, nature oddities of magical, whatever they are.
Those chocobos, they take off like missiles, like exactly like you said, they're guided missiles. With the assistance of Gwendolyn, who gives you a map of the area. You send them out. I'm picturing like the ravens, how they describe them in Song of Ice and Fire / Game of Thrones, but instead of ravens, they're chocobos. Sending them off to the different settlements in the area.
And Gwendolyn, about how far away is this journey to Hush? What kind of travel should we expect?
About a day with a day on horse or chocobo back. Normally, the road between here and Hush is pretty safe, but with everything going on, maybe it won't be.
Right. Well, perhaps we take a moment just to tend to Sadie before heading out.
It's a day, so I'll sleep between now and then. Mechanically,
I worry if something happens on the road before we get to night.
I could ride my wind horse, and then if something happens, I'll just go up.
That sounds pretty cool.
I mean, I'm prepared to travel at a moment's notice.
All right, let's go.
And Qigiq, we're all going heading out.
Absolutely. I was looking at whether I needed to swap out of the vault, and we'll deal with that if we get to the. I don't know that we're gonna have to overnight or anything. Whether we need to bivouac or not. Another good word.
I have to Google so many things. What is a bivouac?
Bivouacking is kind of like a fancy word for camping, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Before we head out, I'm going to walk over not to the conjured chocobos, but to the first group that I thought Sadie was pointing to see if I can negotiate use of a chocobo so that I'm not the only one without a mount.
I would say you don't need to roll because right now a lot of the people who were using the chocobos are, dead. So they're all pretty much available.
Great. I'll grab the healthiest, least singed looking chocobo.
Yeah, you should use your healing on all these innocent civilians that are screaming in pain apparently in the background that we
I can assist the healing of one person on a short rest.
Oh my gosh. How much of the town is dying around us, GM?
I don't know, 20%.
I think he already established they're dead.
Oh my god.
Well, all the people in Vigilance Hall are very dead. So, but the civilians are not in great shape, but they're not completely killed off, unfortunately. Not completely not killed off, fortunately.
Should we do something about this? I feel bad. Yeah, I can blow them up, but that's about it.
Yeah, maybe I could convince them they're not hurt, but...
Yeah, you're better than morphine. Yeah.
I could just chit-chat until they feel okay, I suppose. But,
that's nice.
In terms of healing, the only thing I can do is, I can use attend to wounds action to help heal someone else, and they get an extra hit point.
I do believe, the town was sufficient before we came, so they have people to take care of things. We have to trust Gwendolyn to organize the town's abilities while we go traipsing across the woods to go find an alchemist / arcanist who has magical toys that we need.
Okay, but I like the idea that Arethor talks them out of the idea that they're in pain.
That's a cool idea.
Their bone is broken and they're looking at their exposed bone and they're like, I'm fine.
It's all right.
That won't have any ill effects
wound
down the road.
It's just a flesh wound.
Well, I mean, it's still got to heal. Would you rather feel it or not? I don't know. Anyways.
No, I'm just picturing them not paying attention when it starts to infect and stuff. And they're just it's all right.
Gosh,
it feels
there's
good.
Only, okay. All right. What happens in trauma situations? There's 2 doctors and 300 people. We'll get to you in 2 hours. Just wait. And the waiting is the worst part.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Tom Petty told us. It's the waiting is the hardest part.
Yeah, Qigiq, I'm not saying they walk around on their broken bone. I'm saying okay. Let's go to this next town. Let's see this alchemist. Let's go.
So you guys will have a chance to do a long rest. And so with a long rest, where it says when player character is able to camp, relax for a few hours, and get some sleep, or bivouac, as the case might be. Each player can, so here's what you guys can do. Each player can swap any domain cards in their loadout for any in their vault. So listeners, at level 5, characters get 6 domain cards, which are essentially special abilities they get from their classes. And they can only have 5 in their loadout. All the others go to their vault. So you can do that, and then you can choose 2 moves below or choose the same move twice. So you can tend to all wounds, describe how you patch yourself and remove all marked hit points, clear all your stress, describe how you blow off steam and pull yourself together, repair all your armor, describe how you spend time repairing your armor and clear all of its armor slots, prepare, so you can describe how you are preparing for the next day's adventure, then gain a hope, or you can work on a project, that's more for downtime and more longer term play. But if you have a project you want to work on, we can absolutely do that. And so everyone gets to pick 2 of those or do one twice, though I don't know why you would want to treat your wounds twice, but you can.
Arethor made it through that last attack unscathed and will probably prepare twice. But if anyone would like to prepare with me, then we get even more hope.
That's true.
Back.
I think I'm going to heal all my wounds and restore my armor. But yeah.
And Qigiq is going to, in taking care of the camp and himself, he's going to treat his frostbite from the dragon breath, and also have to spend time, grooming Fluff to remove Fluff's stress, which is 2 different actions. So I wind up spending my time taking care of me and Fluff.
Okay, nobody else prepared with you, so I'll just leave my armor checked off once, and I will fully heal my wounds and prepare.
Oh, if you have to do your armor, that's okay.
I got 6 more. Meh.
Okay, then if we prepare together, sort of chit-chat and talk about this alchemist and how we might handle him, we each gain 2 hope for that preparation, and then I gain a hope for my second preparation, where it's more self-talk. You can do this, Arethor. You're good enough, you're smart enough, and doggone it, people like you.
We do. You are of wax.
Wouldn't it be cat gone it? People like you? Sorry. I apologize.
Additionally, since we've made it through and we've spent some time together, I'm going to use my Bard class feature before I forget that it exists, of Rally. So once per session, I'm gonna call us all together as we're traveling and say, I know we haven't done this together very many times, but we're absolutely prepared, and look at how we handled these dragons and held them off, only losing half the town before the orcs arrived. And so
Woo-hoo.
We know that we're prepared for doing this work as we move ahead. And so I'm going to rally us before we head into the next stage. So we all get a D6 rally die. And so you can have it to add it to the result of an action roll, a reaction roll, a damage roll, or you can use it to clear stress. And it lasts until the end of the session. And so I'm sorry, actually, we're level 5. It's not a D6, it's a D8 now. At level 5, it's D8.
Arethor, you are such a lovely party member.
Well, I try. Keep morale up for all of us.
And does Arethor also get that rally die?
It says how you rally the party, then give yourself and each of your allies a rally die. Yeah.
Very cool.
So I've ticked it off as my once per session ability as a bard.
And that can be used once for essentially any roll.
Once.
But you said you could also remove stress with it. Is it rolled, or is it just one stress?
You roll it, and you remove as many stress as you roll.
Whatever you rolled. All right.
So up to 8 stress, potentially, on a lucky roll.
If I have 8 stress, I'm in a bad way. Because at that point, I've picked up the condition of vulnerable.
Yep.
Shall we form a trigon and keep watch?
Indeed, the thing you said, well, whatever it is.
All right. I shall try to acknown all dangers around us during the night. Sleep well. Wait, no, that didn't work. Try to be acknown. Ooh. Try to be acknown of all dangers around us in the middle of the night as you sleep. We're doing staggered sleep schedules, so we're in a group. We're sleeping, alternating, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I would also,
like it,
as we set up our camp and our bivouac, I would interrogate the hidden natural world. I'd be talking to the plants and the trees and making sure there's nothing dangerous with nature's tongue. That does require an instinct roll.
Okay.
Which, let's see what that comes out to. That came out to a 23 with hope.
So, gain a hope. And actually...
Yeah, it was a 12 I needed for success. So it's, let me tell you what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
On a success, it'll give me information they know. So just making sure there's no natural dangers that are going to, really cause us problems on our rest.
You get some really interesting information, Qigiq. You are not very far from Hush, the actual town. In fact, you're just on the outskirts of it when you bivouac down. There's the plants and animals around here are very safe and comfortable. And Qigiq, once he casts a spell and he concentrates on the nature, he almost sees like a soft blue hue on a lot of the flora and fauna that could only really be seen by somebody like him. There's something about Hush that is very special. That is almost like a security blanket, a magical security blanket over this entire area. And as of right now, something is tugging on that security blanket, but the woods and the nature can't tell you what exactly is tugging at that security blanket.
I will tell keep a good vigilance. It is a safe area. However, something's disturbing it lately. Something doesn't feel right. There's something upsetting the natural balance here.
Do you tell that to your party?
Yeah, that's what I was just telling you.
Out loud.
I think.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll take a look. I'm gonna use reveal. I'm gonna make a spellcast roll. Is that 2d12s?
Yep.
Okay. 12. Anything that fails against me, I see within close range. That was hidden. I see everything. Is there anything to be seen?
You see a group of Strix wolves, which are kind of like big, kind of like they're like dire wolves, but they have constantly changing fur, kind of as camouflage. They are hidden, but they look like they're hidden trying to hunt some prey. There's a mama and 2 cubs.
Are we the prey, or are they facing away from us?
No, you're not the prey, but they are trying to hide from just everything around them.
Okay. Cute. Yeah, no, this is just a normal day for me. I'm like, sorry, Qigiq, I don't know what's causing it. We'll have to find out in Hush.
Yes, perhaps the Alchemist knows.
It's probably those Discardian people.
So as you continue to Hush, you finally see that as you get closer to Hush, rather, the other party members besides Qigiq, Sadie, and Arethor, they start feeling the same way too about the area that Qigiq had felt earlier. And in fact, if they look real close, they can see light blue hue on a lot of the plants within the town radius, within the radius of the town. As you get into town, a few smiling faces turn to you, waving or casting a warm greeting towards you. Even the town is small enough that there is some lively music drifting towards you from the direction of a tavern at the center of town. Obviously, word has not gotten back to them about what occurred in Silverwood Haven, because everything seems pretty light and airy and nice. You know you need to find the Alchemist to deliver this grave news. What would you like to do?
Are there any obvious signs on any of the buildings that are like Alchemist shop?
No, not that you can see.
I'm going to look around for somebody who looks perhaps lonely or off on their own that I can approach to speak to.
So would now be a good time for a break?
It's up to you, GM. I like to leave us on a cliffhanger.
I like that. I like living on a cliffhanger too.
If it helps, I was looking for a villager to flirt with to get information.
Thanks for joining us for part 1. Joining us was Sadie.
Bye.
Qigiq.
Bye, and leave us a review on iTunes if this is where... Oh, God, I got that all screwed up. I think we got to do this all over again.
It's okay.
This is where I'm supposed to put this, right? I wrote it down, and I wrote it down completely wrong.
It's okay. That is not a stressful thing at all. Just say this. Leave us a review, and we'll read it on air.
Bye. Leave us a review, and we'll read it.
And Arethor.
Bye. Thanks so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Today's mid-episode shout-out is, quote, Menoji, our passionate fornaio chef. Your culinary creations have tantalized our taste buds and enriched our lives. You're a flavor genius. End quote. Thank you for supporting our podcast by buying a shout-out. Everyone, you can arrange for us to read your shout-out at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com. We also sell books and audiobooks based on our adventures on Amazon. And simply telling someone else about Fire Breathing Kittens really helps us too. Think of an episode that would make them smile. If you don't tell them about it, no one will. Thanks.
Hello and welcome to part 2. When last we left, you were entering the town of Hush, and you need to find the Alchemist to deliver this grave news about the destruction of Vigil Hall. What would you like to do?
I think Arethor was looking for a lonely person. For some reason, only bards know.
Arethor, you see not exactly a lonely person, but you see something pretty unique to the area. You see a mechanized, kind of like a mechanized golem sort of person. They are playing some kind of dice game. It's a humanoid robot of indeterminate age and bears a number of scratches on its metallic body. It is playing a dice game and card game by itself, right on the streets of Hush. And nobody seems to think that this is unusual. Or if they do.
Right. I suppose I'll walk up to this robotic figure and say, excuse me, would you like a partner for this game?
Yes, I am playing Wizards and Thieves. Would you care to play a game, sir? And he kind of trails off.
You can call me Arethor. It's not a game I'm familiar with, but I'd be happy to learn.
The creature starts to say, teach you the rules of the game. And it looks up, it says, this is a game for multiple players. Multiple players are allowed. He's looking at Sadie and Qigiq.
Oh, I have no charisma. Don't mind me. I'll be over here. Oh, look, it's a thing. And I play with an invisible air spirit that you can't see.
Qigiq just shakes his head and says, sure, I'll learn how to play.
As he's teaching you how to play, he says, I am Halcyon 1. What brings you to Hush? You are newcomers.
Well, to be fair, Halcyon, we're looking for someone, and we bring dire news, but I guess we have time for a card game.
Who would you be looking for? Perhaps I can assist. Declare wizard.
We are looking for someone called the Alchemist. I'm not 100% sure what declare wizard means.
It is part of the game. I will explain again. However, if you are looking for the Alchemist, he is not known to me. However, if anyone would like to know to find somebody in Hush, the Thirsty Tree is often the place to go. It is the center of town in a social sense.
Right. Well, thank you so much for the information. Perhaps I should save this game for a time when we have less on our plate, as it were. But we appreciate it, and perhaps we should head to that inn.
I would like to play with you again. You are an interesting pair, and the elf woman is also interesting, even if she does not wish to play.
Awkward. Okay, all right, I'm playing. I can't have magical power and charisma, can I? No, I gotta pick one, so...
And of course, the choice is always magical power.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I will squint really hard. There's an 8-tentacled creature that wants in, so I just, like, poke at the air, and I'm like, hey, you, come here. Want to be friends? Play with this person in my stead. And there's a land octopus for you to play with. They seem nice. They wanted to come here for some reason. Can they play with you, Halcyon 1?
That would be interesting. He looks up at the squid. Does the squid know how to play games?
It speaks deep into your mind with an incredibly grating, not Cthulhu-esque at all voice that doesn't scar your psyche when it talks to you at all and doesn't reminisce of the abyss. And it and Halcyon have a great time.
And Halcyon, he does have a soul and a fully self-aware mind. So he would interact with it pretty good, despite being a humanoid robot type thing. Okay, so where are you guys going next?
I mean, we should probably go to the inn, right? That's where the social center is to find the alchemist.
Yep, and it is called the Thirsty Tree, and it is a sight to behold. It's got 6 stories climbing the trunk of this ancient tree. So it's like literally built around a giant twisting, massive like redwood type tree. It's always crowded. It's crowded. It's got a lot of music. There's a lot of good-natured conversation. A barmaid comes up to the party and says, newcomers to the bar have to take off their shoes and hang them over that line. And you see like a big line, like a clothing line across the bar's ground floor. Don't worry, they'll all come back.
This caliph's after my livings.
Can you repeat that, ma'am? The barmaid says.
New place, go with the flow. I take off my shoes. I throw them over the telephone wire.
You'll notice Arethor does not have shoes covering his cat paws.
And Qigiq will turn over his shoes.
So she'll hang up Qigiq's shoes on the telephone wire. So what else? So I've given you the kind of the basics of the Thirsty Tree. Does anybody else have any idea what makes this tavern unique? What kind of smell there is? Any more like kind of interesting, unique customs you think they might participate in?
I am 100% sure the entire thing is taken over with the smell of feet.
Legit.
Adventurer comes in after walking for a day and they want my shoes. They get what they ask for.
You wanted this.
Yeah, it absolutely smells like feet. Yeah.
I hope they specialize in cheese.
I was going to say, I think they probably have a house sauce, kind of like a mole that's never fully replaced. It's always added to, and it's been going for decades.
Oh, like a perpetual stew.
Like a perpetual stew.
Interesting. Yeah, it absolutely, and it mixing with the feet smells fantastic.
There's probably also carpet.
Yeah, and it makes it a little bit easier to walk through without getting poked.
It really holds in that foot smell.
Yeah, they have to do the magical equivalent of vacuuming quite a bit, I imagine. As you kind of take in the Thirsty Tree, Arethor notices everybody notices somebody who stands out, but Arethor in particular notices her. She's a rabbit folk wearing a fashionable dress and enjoying some wine. She looks up and her nose twitches and her eyes settle on Arethor. And she looks as surprised to see him as he probably sees her. Says, "Hello, Arethor. Long time no see." She runs her hands up her long ears and says, "I came all the way here to get away from you, and here you are."
Hello, Hop. Perhaps it's nicer to see you than you might think it is for me. I'm glad you're well. I'll try not to burden you with my presence overmuch. But if you're willing to chat at some point, I would like it perhaps when we don't have grave work to do. But this is not like the Arethor you've seen in any previous interaction, but it seems like self-confidence is not there in this moment. It is definitely fresh.
Do you look like endearing or like you're drowning?
Drowning a little bit. This is not a facade. This is this was unexpected and perhaps more connected than I was ready for.
Drowning means you might need a life preserver. I step up and I hold out my hand and I say to the rabbit, "Nice to feat you. Let's shake our fables."
The rabbit folk shakes your hand and says, "Hello, I'm Hop. And your other companion?" Gestures to Qigiq. I'm sorry, is Qigiq, is he there?
Qigiq Steel.
Qigiq Steel, pleasure. I don't, much like Arethor, I don't want to overburden you with how we know each other. But perhaps you could join me at my table. I have a whole bottle of wine I would like to share.
Does Arethor look into that idea or terrified?
That is really hard to tell. It is a deeply mixed emotion from Arethor in this moment. If you're willing, Hop, that would be much appreciated. Perhaps you could tell us more about. We've just arrived, and we are looking for someone. But I'd be happy to share a glass of wine if you're open to it.
Hop signals for more glasses from the barkeep and says, "Well, after our falling out, I decided to make a trip, a very long trip, and a good barrister is welcome anywhere. And so I decided to go someplace very, very far away. And so here I am. And I don't want to overburden your companions with with any more information, but I'm curious, that's how I got here. How did you get here?"
Well, since my abrupt change of career, I've joined up with the fire-breathing kittens here, and we are here on a quest, an adventure of the most noble sort. But we're seeking someone known as the Alchemist in the village to speak to.
Hop looks a little overwhelmed with all the information that she's been given, and she says, "Well, I do hope it's you have a little bit more noble goals here than you had back in Jishup."
Arethor is saving the entire town. Arethor is so important. You have no idea. We just came from a town where 20% of them died.
She looks taken aback. 20%?
We think.
You need to...
It wasn't our fault.
That is a rough guess.
It's a rough guess.
And it makes sense you'd speak to the Alchemist. Well, I don't know much about her, but to tell you the truth, everyone in power here in Hush reveres her. She does something about the town. She does something with the town, but we're not sure what it is. But since she's a vigilance, we trust her. She lives up on the 3rd floor. I can talk to the innkeep and make sure that you're allowed to go up there to speak with her, but she's not always the most welcoming of visitors.
Well, then it's on her if 20% of this town dies. Did you not hear of Arethor's important quest?
out of curiosity, what town lost 20% of its population?
Silverwood Haven.
But the vigilance, they're
Died
almost as
too.
her like her hands go up her ears, like in a kind of nervous habit, and she says, "Oh, this is grave news." And while I would kind of expect grave news to follow Arethor, not this kind of grave news. She chugs the rest of her wine and then pours herself another glass after serving you the bottle's gone. And she says, well, perhaps I should go back to my firm and make sure everything's secure there if this is the kind of thing that's going on these days.
Do as you must, but perhaps you could persuade the innkeeper to allow us access to the third floor before you go. I am ever so grateful for the work that you're willing to do to assist us in our support of the vigilance. It was lovely to see you, Hop. I do hope we'll be able to have a quieter chat, perhaps correct some misinformation you may have received before our parting. But I appreciate this might not be the time.
No, I don't think it is. And I wish it was under better circumstances, Arethor, but it was good to see you. A lot better than I expected.
You as well, definitely.
She lifts her glass for a cheer to the fire-breathing kittens.
Arethor's saving the whole town. Cheer. I'm trying to make you seem good to this. I know the backstory, but Sadie doesn't know the backstory, but I think Sadie would still do this. Wingman. Good job saving this town, Arethor. Clink.
Arethor very
Nothing
quietly.
2 whole bottles of wine won't fix.
Wingmen, we're united.
She finishes her last glass pretty quick and then gets up she speaks with the innkeep, who gives you guys a thumbs up. And though he looks a little perturbed, and he sends over a complimentary bottle of wine if you guys want to drink some more of it.
Oh, give that to the lady, I whisper. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we save that for the Alchemist.
Enough wine can change the direction of many a conversation.
So where to now?
Upstairs, third floor.
I assume third floor.
As you go up the stairs, it's a lot less lively, and it's kind of like one of those buildings where there's businesses on the bottom floor and residences on the higher floors above it. But you get to the third floor, and the door, as you approach the door, you can hear it unlock. There seems to be some kind of magic. The door to the floor kind of unlocks. There seems to be some kind of magic to it. And sure enough, as you go through, you see just one door there, kind of like a room. And there's a big sign. I'm picturing it like in the one in Fellowship of the Ring. It says Alchemist business, keep out, like party business, but pretty much the same thing in the kind of runic words.
Once Hop is gone. Oh, go ahead.
Friendly sort of, all-powerful magical person here, wouldn't you say?
It certainly seems it. Arethor seems to have collected themselves after Hop is gone, and sort of out of their interactive space, and is sort of rolling his shoulders and looking more relaxed, bottle of wine in hand, and taps on the door with the end of the bottle, so it makes a good loud rapping noise.
Go away!
Check your seeing stone for Silverwood Haven and then tell us that.
You hear somebody getting up and the door open, and there is an elven woman who looks old even for an elf. She is dressed in a similar set of robes as Gwendolyn had been, but hers are somewhat more elaborate. And you can see where Gwendolyn had her rank. There is a different on her robes. there's a different rank that looks a lot more, looks more prestigious. And she says, how do you know about the seeing stones? You don't seem like vigilance.
Use them. For crying out loud, you know nothing for an all-seeing, all-knowing alchemist.
I never said I was all-seeing and all-knowing, young lady.
No, you just assume you are. I got it.
She's glaring at you.
I don't know why we're off to such an unpleasant start to our relationship, dear Alchemist, but we are working on behalf of Gwendolyn, who has sent us, the fire-breathing kittens, on a deeply important mission after a harrowing attack on Silverwood Haven itself by Knights on Dragons that has damaged the town greatly. We need you to use your seeing stones to contact others of the order, other vigilants.
She gets more and more disturbed as Arethor adds more and more details, and then right before he finishes, she says, "Come in. We cannot let anyone over here."
Hush.
Qigiq squints a bit, trying to muddle through his head why this is secret if it involves the safety of everywhere, but he'll stay quiet for now and go in. I'm not really trusting this right now.
Yeah, Arethor goes right in and starts scanning the room for wine glasses, and is kind of saying at the same time, perhaps I could pour you some wine to settle your nerves, Alchemist.
She closes the door behind you. So the description of this room, I don't know if you've ever seen like a monk, like living space where it's just like a bed, praying materials, and maybe some cooking. That's basically this, except instead of praying materials, she has a whole bunch of wizardry materials. And you do see a crystal orb in there, a seeing stone, but it looks like more like a rock. It's like a rock with like a milky haze in it. I'm trying to think. It's a type of rock that looks like that. But anyway.
Quartz.
Quartz, thank you. Yeah, kind of like a smooth quartz. She says when Arethor offers the wine, she grabs the wine, uncorks it, and then just starts chugging it. This is not she starts drinking
Qigiq's
and drinking it.
concern deepens.
She wipes her mouth and she says, I needed that after that news. She says, so how, you said the Vigil Hall was under attack as long as the rest of the town. What's its status?
The Vigil Hall is not so much standing as laying upon the ground now, along with the Pennenstein Inn, sort of resting.
I believe
pining.
the correct way to say it is it's been reconfigured into its subcomponents.
Explosively. Add some char.
She says, I see.
Quite frankly, the town would be in much worse shape if it weren't for the help of the Thunderclash orcs, who arrived in our moment of need.
She grabs the bottle of wine again from Arethor and just chugs the rest of it. She says,
GM, I would like to use a per session ability of my community, and I am going to spend a hope and pull out a common item that's useful to the situation. So I'm pulling out a fifth of scotch for her.
Perfect.
And I had to spend a hope to do that, but that's okay. Sure. This is fun.
Why are we getting her drunk?
We're plying her with liquor.
She'll tell us her real reasons in a minute.
All right, I'm in.
Does Qigiq wait till she finishes chugging the wine to give her the fifth of whiskey?
I just hold it out so that when she's ready to switch bottles, she's good to go.
Well, she finishes the bottle and she looks at Qigiq and says, give me a minute. Let me explain. You see,
this will be great.
There's a lot more going on in Hush than this nice, cute little tavern. I don't want to go into details, but I work constantly on behalf of the vigilance to keep this place protected. In the last 2 days, something's been happening. Somebody is disrupting my spells and my rituals. I don't know who it is, but if I don't keep it up, if I don't keep doing this, it's going to get worse and the entire town may collapse. And we don't have too many defenders left in here. So I would have to cast, she starts thinking, I have to perform a ritual of cleansing, but that will bring, oh, hold on. She kind of offers her hand out.
Hand her the whiskey.
She takes a swig of whiskey. I'll have to cast a ritual of cleansing, and you're the fire-breathing kittens. Normally, I'd rely on the vigilance, but you'll do. We'll have to go out to the open vale, and then you'll have to protect me from anything that attacks me while I perform this ritual. I don't know how much you've been paid, but I'm sure we can work something out if it's not enough.
Where do you need to go?
The open vale is a place right outside of town that is a long meadow. That is a place of some magical importance that is being corrupted, that's blocking both my spells and the Seeing Stone.
Okay. So you need us to get you there, or you need to be there and us protect you?
The second, young lady.
Ah, all right.
Right. Just to be... We have some direction from Gwendolyn and what she believes that she needs, and part of that was using the Seeing Stone. So we must protect you during a ritual so that you can use the Seeing Stone to contact remaining vigilance, but we also need information about some sort of artifacts that have gone missing from Silverwood Haven. I just don't want to forget that point, because we also apparently need to restore them.
Missing artifacts.
Wait. I'm so confused. Step 1, we need to tell the other people to raise their defenses. That's what we need to do before we leave this room. Can you communicate with the other vigilances using your Seeing Stone from your room? Because that's what the assumption I was making.
Oh, no, young lady. Whatever's corrupting Hush is disrupting that Seeing Stone. She points to it.
And
Normally you can
idea.
see things in there.
You have no idea what's corrupting your magic. I mean, I could feel it coming in, that something's trying to get in, but you have no idea what that is.
To investigate, I would have to leave everything vulnerable. And I had sent messages for assistance to Vigil Hall, but I don't think they got there.
I think they went on dead ears.
Would it help you to have... Yeah, they can't hear when they're dead. Dead men tell no tales and listen to none. Would it help you to have this, stone and you somewhere else?
If I leave the town, I would have to risk Hush.
Okay,
and
so
I'm
we're
not
going
prepared
to the
do
meadow
that.
outside of town to clean it, and we'll protect you, and that's where you'll use the stone to... I'm just trying to understand what's going on. So, gonna be in the meadow.
She'll use the stone after she's done the ritual of cleansing.
Okay.
Cleansing ritual.
Yeah.
Return to your fabulous apartment to use the stone, and then we get on with our primary quest. If I've got that correct.
So you need the Seeing Stone to communicate too? It's not just finding the artifacts thing?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, it's all just one stone. Okay, so you're not really the alchemist as much as you are the person who has the Seeing Stone. Got it.
She says, I'd like to see you use that thing. Go ahead, try it right now.
Let's not go there. And you suspect that there will be something that will try to disrupt your ritual because you feel this stuff coming. Now, does Discardia, who seems to be the forces at play trying to take out the Confederation, do they have the resources to corrupt Hush, or is this yet another player that we don't know?
I couldn't begin to think of who it could be. Unfortunately, our land is beset by many perils. So perhaps it is them, perhaps it is somebody else.
Apparently. And with a Seeing Stone, it's still pretty hard to see, apparently.
Yes. I have to, if you see here, I have to concentrate quite a bit most of my waking days in order to keep this in order to keep this protection upheld. Any time I spend away means times it's vulnerable.
While all this is happening, Arethor, as soon as the challenge came out, like, why don't you go try and use the stone? Arethor walks directly to the stone to attempt to use it.
I love birds. You're like, I can sweet talk it.
One of my experiences is cocky.
Okay. There won't be any roll for this because it's not gonna quite work because as far as Arethor can tell, it's basically a rock. It's basically a piece of quartz. It's not doing anything right now.
Okay, so no channeling of my voice into it is going to benefit anything.
No, I mean, he can try,
Okay.
but
Yeah, so there's no particular ability for this one, but it would be more that I try and tap into my primordial voice to tell the seeing stone to activate.
sadly, it doesn't seem to do much.
I slink back to the group quietly, hopefully unobserved.
Oh yeah, no one saw. No.
She kind of has her eyes dart at Arethor, but she doesn't say anything. And she says, well, she takes another swig and then offers the remaining to Qigiq.
No. It's a gift for you. I'm sure it can only help our chances.
She says, you look prepared. Perhaps now is as good of a time as any to begin this cleansing ritual.
I agree. There's no time to waste.
And hopefully we have a better casualty rate than 20%.
Yeah.
Well, close to 90 if you talk about all the people in the vigilance.
That happened in the GM preamble before the story. It's
Fair
fine.
enough. They don't count.
Not our fault.
Yeah.
So she starts to get prepared to leave. Anything else you guys would like to do or ask?
Not for me.
I am noting that I am very close to her, if that makes sense, mechanically, for mechanical reasons, based on the Book of Grin. If anyone's gonna get the materials and follow along, listeners, you can. But no, I'm very close to her this whole time. I'm so close to her.
You mean physically close?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I am not, in case she needs an arrow.
Okay, so she takes you out to the open vale, which is pretty much it's a beautiful wide green meadow, and it doesn't take long to get there from the thirsty tree. But as you one more thing, as you leave the thirsty tree and you gather up your shoes, everyone who had shoes, so I think that was everyone but Arethor, they're filled with like little trinkets, and they've been polished. So just a little boost for you guys as you go on. She sets up her material. She begins the ritual. So I think you said Sadie is going to be probably very close or close to her, correct?
Not close to, very close.
Very close. Yeah, there is a distinct difference. And then Qigiq, you said you're going to be far or very far?
I would probably be at a range of far, and I'll be doing, I'll be mobile on Fluff, just looking for things coming in, ready with bow. And
so you're mounted on Fluff. Or
I would be mounted at least initially until something's known, because I can move so much faster with Fluff.
Okay. And how about Arethor?
I'll be in melee range with her, rapier in hand.
Okay.
Just in case. Head on a swivel.
As she begins the ritual, you feel a rumble under the ground. And coming out, as you see skeleton arms bursting from the ground.
Oh my gosh, that's a non-living object.
The non-living objects push themselves down, put their hands down, and they break through earth and emerge.
Wait. Time lock. Target a non-living object within far range. That object stops in time and space exactly where it is for a number of minutes equal to my level, which is 5. If a creature tries to move it, which they can, but they'll make an opposed spellcast roll against me.
Okay, yeah. You want to take the first. We could say that this is going on like they get up pretty quick. But I think we can have Sadie go first, if that's okay with everybody else.
Sure.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm putting a Sadie token on the action tracker.
Sweet. Thanks, guys. I'm going to time lock these non-living objects.
Time lock away. So do you have, so you, okay, so you don't even need to make a spellcast roll.
Unless a creature tries to move it.
Unless the creature tries to move it.
You
Okay.
got 5 minutes. Our Alchemist, did I get your name? Hey, what's your name?
The alchemist is fine. She says, don't talk to me, please.
Yep. Thumbs.
In the distance, as they freeze, you see, so this will be like the opposite distance from where Qigiq currently is. A creature is gliding on the ground on what looks like what today we would think of as a Segway. If you guys know what a Segway is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got centered on it, looks like an illusion of a humanoid face on what we would today think of as like a tablet. And next to it is an undead human wearing rumpled dark wizard robes. And his voice kind of amplifies so you all can hear it, even Qigiq, who's very far away, and says, "You've come again, Sadie Duca. Wherever I go, wherever I try and make this world a better place, you're there. You have talent. You were born with it. I cannot say the same for those pieces of trash beside you and the one behind you. Leave here and I will not pursue. Stay and be destroyed. Hush is ours. Every animal, every plant, every man, woman, and child, every bit of mana in this place belongs to us. Save yourselves, fire-breathing kittens. You have talent and luck, but it will not avail you a second time."
I recognize the person who was there when I, as a cat, went to go get Sadie's body back.
Now, does that count as a enemy action?
You know what? It's just talking. So I'll say no, but now they're in very far range.
That's okay. I can still put an arrow in his forehead.
So they're in very far range from Qigiq, but they're far range from Sadie and Arethor, just to give you guys an idea of what's happening. And the skeletons are in close range to Sadie and Arethor. Again.
Yeah, but 5 minutes from now, they'll move.
Yep, 5 minutes from now, they might move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question about, so it's a Segway with a tablet face, and it's also a person?
No, they're two separate. There are two of them.
There's two separate Segways. Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one's got an undead spellcaster on it.
Right.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what the Segway is. I don't have experience with that. But undead spellcaster, they deserve arrows.
That guy tried to take my body one time, and I like my body, so we're not friends. I mow him. Meh.
All right, so you're doing arrows, Qigiq?
Well, once it's my turn, I can't really hear Sadie from this far away. He's got this booming thaumaturgy thing going on. Realize mechanics probably different, but
You can see my hand gestures.
oh yeah, I can tell but that's not swaying me either direction. I just think undead spellcaster, probably bad guy who's going to cause problems to this this ritual of wonderfulness. So yeah, I plan to put an arrow in him.
Does Qigiq want to go next then?
I would like to.
That's cool with you guys.
Yeah.
I will use a hope to activate my class feature, Ranger's Focus. Spend a hope and make an attack with your weapon. On a success, I will deal damage as normal, and that target becomes my focus. While they are my focus, I know precisely what direction they are in. All damage rolls against them also deal a stress, and when I miss them with an attack, I can end the focus to re-roll the dice and take the new result. So focus is already spent. And I will use the D8. I don't think I can. I think I have to roll the D8 separately, just because it's not supported in Demiplane that I can see. Oh, that's awful. So the total is a 10. I probably missed.
You did.
Remember,
miss.
you've got that rally die.
That was the rally die I already added. I rolled a 2 on that.
Oh, you did use the rally die.
After an ally attempts an action roll but before the consequences take place, I may offer assistance or words or hand gestures of support. When I do, they may re-roll their dice. They must accept the result of this new roll. Would you like this?
I would love that.
It's more
Your
of
hand
a hand
gestures
gesture.
make me... Yeah.
I'm just trying to picture what hand gestures Sadie would use.
They're old-timey. You don't even know what they are.
I thought they might be impolite.
GM, do I re-roll the D8 or keep the D8 result as it is?
You know what? Reroll the whole shebang.
Oh, that is much better. So that will be an 18 with hope.
So snatch a hope and roll for damage.
I would like to share something with you guys. It says, learn a mildly and polite Elizabethan hand gesture. Would you like? It's got these hand diagrams. So I will show it to you now, but basically this.
That looks like the, yeah, that's
Okay,
funny.
so it's 16 damage and 1 stress.
16
Also
damage and
this.
1 stress.
What are they doing? That's not mildly impolite. It just looks like you're tripping yourself. This is how you middle finger someone in Shakespeare times.
Well, they also thumb their noses, too.
Thumb the nose, yeah.
And this is apparently bad.
Wow.
Looks like a dirty one.
Yeah.
I know directly in the text, Shakespeare talks about thumbing noses.
Yes,
Yeah, I
they had
remember-
a lot of hand gestures back then.
In high school, a friend and I used to, I bite my thumb at you just because we saw it and we thought it was so silly. Anyway, you do, so it does hit for minor damage, Qigiq.
Mm-hmm.
You said 16, right?
16 damage and 1 stress.
And 1 stress. So you hit one of the segways.
Well, no, I was going specifically for the undead spellcaster guy. The segways, I don't even recognize them as a thing yet.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And I'm sorry if I made this unclear. There's 1 segway and 1 spellcaster guy.
Right, that's what I was assuming.
Okay.
The segway just looks like equipment or something at this point.
Sure. So you hit it for 1 damage. Like I said, he's dressed in
1 hit point, 1 stress.
1
Yep.
hit point and 1 stress. So you can describe that if you like.
So yeah, he's all. I see him saying all his stuff, and Qigiq pulls back on the bow, and then his attention draws to Sadie, who's doing the Shakespearean effect of flipping him off, and I'm like, okay, that and that refocuses me. The arrow shoots out, not being a great hit, but it's one of those glancing hits, and like in the skinny skin under the arm that's really irritating. To duplicate that stress. It just goes right through his arm and causes all kinds of pain and anguish. Not being a super solid hit, but still a very irritating one. And Qigiq nods because now his ranger focus is set in, and he's feeling good at very far range. He might shoot a crazy spell at me, but shooting a spell at me is not going to disrupt the ritual. So I'm happy with that.
Okay. Sadie and Qigiq, neither of you rolled fear. So right now I am not making a GM move. So that leaves it to, and here is another note that I'm not going to do, but I could do. One thing the GM can do is they can remove 2. So right now there's Sadie and Qigiq are on the action tracker. I can remove 2 tokens, so your guys' tokens, and take a fear and then make a move if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that right now. I will keep it with you guys. So another player can go.
So, quick mechanical question.
Yep.
I have an ability called Ice Spikes, but it just says that it create a summon large ice spikes within very far range. It doesn't say how many creatures I can target with those ice spikes.
Which spell was this?
It's under the Book of Ava, Grimoire,
Ava,
for
okay.
anyone who's following. The ability is called Ice Spikes. Make a spellcast roll to summon large ice spikes within very far range. If you use them as a weapon, on a success, deal physical damage using your proficiency.
Yeah, I think you can't. So I guess what's your question? Sorry.
Could I hit both of them?
If you could hit both of them. You know what? That sounds like fun. So sure, why not?
Great.
Because it says
so
you summon multiple, so
it says
why not?
spikes. Yeah,
Yep,
and it's a lower damage threshold than the push one.
Sure.
So Arethor will call out to the earth itself and try and command these spikes, and I'm going to spend a hope. Oh no, I can't because I'm not convincing anybody. I won't do that. I will just roll.
And you're not being very flirty.
That is a 17 with hope.
17 with hope. Is that a hit? That is a hit. And you can take a hope.
So I have taken a hope, and they will each take 6, and I'm going to use my rally die for 9 damage each. Physical damage, if it
9
matters.
physical damage each.
As these giant ice spikes erupt from the ground directly underneath both the Segway and the wizard, hopefully also maybe toppling and slowing them.
All right. So what I'm going to currently do, I'm going to take a fear. So I will remove Sadie and Qigiq's tokens. So I have a fear in the bank. But I will not be using that fear. I'll let you guys go next. So far, everybody's gone once. Who would like to go next?
Qigiq will continue to try to make that spellcaster regret coming onto this field.
Sure.
Just looking. All right, that's fine. I don't have to spend any more of that. All right. So I should be good to put another arrow into him.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an 18 with hope.
18 with hope. Man, you guys are rolling really well tonight. That hits for... that does major damage.
Don't I have to roll the damage?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You made the hit with that. Now you roll the damage.
So the damage total is 14.
Okay.
Which is probably another minor, and it's also dealing stress again.
How much stress?
1 stress. One stress every hit.
Oh, it did the stress before. Okay, cool. You can describe it again if you want.
Okay, so now I assume I'm seeing a little more damage. This one, probably pierces through his calf and sticks into the ground as he's starting to get, more pincushioned. And I just kind of scan to make sure nothing else is around. And that the ritual is going as pretended, because there's nothing worse than getting focused in on taking down a bad guy and our alchemist has gotten taken out while we weren't looking.
She's doing her thing. She's chanting and dancing and doing some weird gestures with her hands. And Qigiq, you can kind of see, you don't need to roll for this. You can feel that. Remember I was mentioning that security blanket was feeling like it was being tugged. You can kind of feel that security blanket, like that magical protection starting to settle back down and being more sturdy, but it's not there yet, but you can definitely feel the shift happening. Okay, so you rolled with hope again. You know what? I'm going to spend this fear to make a GM move. They are going to, the Segway and the frumpled up undead magic user get in closer. And, well, actually, the Segway gets in closer and then deals a blast at Sadie. So, okay, so I'm going to roll. So now I'm rolling a D20. If I could find my dice here. Here it is. Okay. I think a 12. Oh, that's a 12. So does that beat Sadie's evasion?
Yes, by 1 because of my +3 when I have at least 2 hope. It puts me at 11.
Okay, so we're going to roll for damage. So it's 4d8, and that is 13 damage.
I just take 2, right? Yeah, I just take 2 damage. So I am at 5 out of 7 hit points. And what does that look like?
It's a kind of like a laser blast coming from the what we would think of a laser blast. Someone from that an older from fantasy era might think of it as kind of like a beam of powerful light, but it penetrates Sadie's armor to deal her to burn her skin underneath.
I heroically stand in front of the alchemist as I get laser beamed.
So I used up the fear, and we only have one action token, so it's up to you guys.
Did that attack came from the Segway figure, or from
Yes.
the? Okay. I would like to speak words of discord into the thinking area of that Segway figure, and be particularly convincing in telling him to attack his friend, and spend a hope to add that convincing to my words of discord roll.
You're gonna need it.
This is a DC of 13.
Okay.
So that is 9 plus 17 with hope. So that's a success. Target immediately takes a stress and makes an attack against another enemy instead of against you or your allies. If in combat, the GM spends a token from the action tracker to do so. Once the attack is over, the target will realize what has happened. On the next use of Words of Discord against them, add +5 to the spellcast roll difficulty.
Wow.
Can you
This is my Ultima.
So what was that thing about the action tokens? I'm sorry.
So you have to take a token from the action tracker to do this attack, giving you less of a pool for fear to do GM actions.
That's really good.
It's my level 5. It's super good.
There was only one more token on there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there was one token once you added Arethor's, but now Arethor's is gone. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So yeah, now the Segway figure needs to make an attack against the wizard.
This is pretty neat. The Segway turns, and then the wizard, the undead wizard says, I, all those things I did, the cats, the stealing the bodies, what have I done? And he takes some damage. Probably, it looks like might be mental damage based on this.
Emotional damage.
He clutches his head and screams in agony. And okay, so who's up next? And you rolled with the hope, right?
I did.
Okay, so you guys are up next, Sadie or Qigiq.
You got anything, Sadie?
Yeah. Normally in a field, right, there's lots of things that enjoy fields. There's like kites. Kites enjoy fields. People flying kites enjoy fields. Okay, somebody from our world flying a kite is in a field, and I'm like, you seem like you could trip a dragon like I did earlier, and I'm going to poke reality and make someone flying a kite from our world. Like, the idea is this is a multiverse. This is how summonings work, because I'm just like, now you're here. I've really screwed over this person, though, because now they're in a fantasy world. So I isekai'd someone just for the sake of tripping a Segway. Which is rude to their life. I imagine that who flies a kite? Like, wow, like a fun-loving, outdoorsy person. This is who I've brought into our world. And my goal is to trip the Segway and to deal a lot of damage to it as it rolls end over end in the grass. And mostly the weight of itself crunching it rather than anything else. You know, it's just, you can't stand a Segway up on its front, can you, at a speed? Let's find out. So that's what the damage is caused by kite tripping.
What?
And then I have to roll the.
Okay, so what mechanically? What ability are you using?
I mean, technically, it's a two-handed greatstaff at very far distance. Yeah.
That's cute. That's a really cute way to do that.
So I'm going to roll 2 dice to see if I hit or not. One is a hope and one is a fear. Wow, that's a 12 on the fear and a 10 on the hope. Holy cow. I am rolling
you did
with
get a fear.
Yeah,
Okay.
So that means I deal an extra 2d10 of damage. Here's 2d10s. I'm going to roll them. Extra damage. And then now I do my powerful. So I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I drop the lowest. The lowest is a 4. Holy cow. Okay, so that's 30 again.
30.
Dropping the lowest dice is a good...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 30 damage from rolling end over end after tripping on a person flying a kite.
An assistant grocery manager of a prominent grocery chain who's on his day off appears and trips up the Segway. The Segway takes a significant amount of damage from this, while the grocery manager looks horribly confused and terrified.
You're welcome. You've been isekai'd. Time to open up your fried chicken restaurant here.
So because Sadie rolled a fear, I am going to remove an action token. I'm going to remove an action token and to activate this very hurt villain, the very hurt wizard, and I'm going to spend a fear to use his ability. So NPCs in Daggerheart have their own abilities that will either consume action tokens or fear. So in this case, it's a fear, and it flies into close range to I would think Arethor is slightly closer. Oh wait, you know what? No, it's going to fly into the skeletons and start smacking them around and says, "You lazy good for nothing undead skeletons." Okay, so now do you have to make another spellcraft roll? Is that it for someone to move it, Sadie?
So I think I'm just one object. So like I might be tripping up one skeleton's femur and it can't walk, but like the whole skeleton horde is not affected by my time
I thought
lock.
you were affecting the whole skeleton horde. Well, that's okay.
Target a non-living object within far range. So I just, that first hand that sprouted above the ground, like they got the rest of their body up and then they were tugging on their hand and their hand is still there. Yeah. Well,
hey, Sadie got a buff, we'll say. So she froze all four. But now they are, if a creature tries to move it, make a spell cast roll against them to maintain this spell.
Okay.
So you make a spellcraft roll. Spell cast.
16, 17, 18, 19. That was quite high.
That was extremely high. And you are able to maintain the spell.
I make more hand gestures. Elizabethan ones. I've learned these now.
So I am out of fear and action tokens because of Sadie's cool stuff. So it's back to you guys.
So Qigiq now, feeling the blood of the hunt per se, as this poor necromancer is just being psychically battered around and a couple arrows pinning him in place. Qigiq is going to spend a hope and hopefully this works and activate all that experience he has in taking down prey and activating his hunter experience for this next bow shot.
Sure. So you're spending a hope, you're using the experience.
Spending a hope to activate my hunter experience as, this guy's definitely in my sights
Wounded
now.
prey, yeah. I think it works perfectly.
So yeah, the roll comes out. Ooh, that's not great. So it's a total of a 15 with fear.
With that experience.
Yes, with the experience added in.
Okay.
Is that still a hit?
15 is a miss.
Okay, I will expend another. When you miss them with an attack, you can end your ranger's focus to re-roll your duality dice and take the new roll. So he won't get stressed for this, but I'll probably hit. An 18.
That is a hit.
With hope. Not that it matters, and I've used a lot of hope for this shot. Or no, I used one hope. He doesn't get stress.
It does matter because the GM doesn't get a fear.
Oh, yes. That's
and
true.
You get a hope.
Yep.
Yeah, you replenish a bit.
Okay. And the damage is 15, and he did not take the stress, but probably another point of damage. As yet another arrow goes through his other foot, pinning it in place.
He does more than pinning it. It kills him. So.
Oh, okay.
Let me rephrase. It takes him out of the combat.
Rather than just
that.
through his foot, he has one through his arm, one through his thing. He just got psychically badgered by his own guy, and then this last arrow comes in and gets him right underneath the collarbone and puts him down on the ground. He's still undead, but he is out of the fight. He's pinned to the ground and can't get up. And I yell over, "Friend of yours, Sadie?"
Actually, is the wheelie thing I tripped. That's the one I knew.
All right.
Is there any effect on the skeletons when this wizard figure goes down?
You know what? The skeletons, no, they're still held in place by the time lock.
Just one of them.
Just one of them.
Just their hand specifically.
So if one of them is locked, can we still see the other three moving, or do they seem to lose their power?
Actually, I'm going to spend the last action token on the action tracker, and the three of the skeletons are going to shamble on to the closest, who I think is Arethor. So mechanically, a little bit behind the scenes, skeletons are what are minions. So they're they're exactly what they sound like. They kind of move and attack together as a group. And the more there are, the more damage they can do. So they are going to shamble on and strike at Arethor. They clearly want to he's in the way for their real target. So they are going to hit on a 14. So Arethor's
that will hit my evasion.
Okay, so because there are 6 of them, they each do 4 damage. So that's going to be a flat 24 damage. No, sorry, there's 3. So there's going to be a flat 18 damage on Arethor as they surround him. Yep.
Okay, that's enough to hit my major, and no point in spending other stuff. So I will take 2 points of damage.
Okay. All right, so I am out of all my tokens, so it's back to you guys.
Well, I think it's time to use my sword for the first time, which is also a chance to try a new mechanic. So I'm going to whip out first against one of the skeletons with my rapier, and that is going to be a 16 with fear.
16 with fear. That is on the skeletons?
On one of the skeletons next to me, yeah.
Okay, great.
And that's going to do 18 physical damage.
So these minions, as we mentioned with minions take damage a little differently. Essentially, they have like a minion damage, and for every multiple you do over that, you kill a second minion or a third minion, etc. So theirs is, and you did how much again? Sorry.
I did 18.
18. So theirs is actually 8. So he actually takes out 2 skeletons. Arethor does.
Additionally, my rapier has the quick feature.
Okay.
So I'm going to mark a stress to attack another one.
Okay, roll again.
9, 10, 11 plus 15 with fear.
That's a hit.
And this is 12, 17 plus 6 is 23.
More than enough to annihilate a skeleton. The third skeleton.
Any chance it kills the time locked one?
No, he's stuck far away, unfortunately.
All right, so 3 skeletons down, but 2 fear added.
2 fear. Oh, you added 2 fear. Okay.
Both rolls rolled with fear.
Okay, so I'm going to use one of those fear to. I'm going to fudge this slightly. I'm going to use the environment, which has an action that will. Mechanically, it's the environment. Here's what you see. More dark magic is on the ground and seems to have been spiked a little bit by this guy who just got isekai'd into the place. And 2 more skeletons emerge from right next to the necromancer. So that's a fear. And then I'm going to spend that last fear. So now we got 3 skeletons that are close to Arethor and Sadie, and the other necromancer is going to go. I'm going to activate him. He's going to make another attack against Arethor. So I'm going to roll a d20. So that is a 21.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a hit.
So he deals 13 damage.
13.
Yep. Oh, sorry, 15 because it's plus 2.
15. Okay, well then there's no point in using my armor. So I'll take 2 more points of damage. So I'm now at 2 out of 6 health.
Ah.
So
Do
he
you have second wind?
flies.
I do.
No, I have no combat healing of any kind for me or others.
Oh, I have second wind. On a success with hope, you may also clear 3 stress or 1 hit point of an ally who is within close range of you. Okay, so noted. Weirdly, wizards get second wind, and they can also use it on an ally. I don't make the rules.
He does move into he closes the distance between himself and Arethor after he makes this long range attack. So he's in close distance. But before he does smack the skeleton again. So Sadie, do you want to make another spellcraft roll?
Yeah, that's
And I'll
my
say
hope
this
and
one-
my fear die, right? With my
Yeah.
spell. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
14 plus 3 is 17.
That thing will not move. It has been like adhered to the ground with the time stop. So it is still stuck. Okay. So now we have, so just to recap, we got 3, Arethor took care of the 3 skeletons that moved, but now we have 2 more non-moving skeletons, a necromancer type Segway and a time lock skeleton. So that now it's up to you guys. Now it's on you guys.
Is the person with the black robes, are they still here? What happened to them? Oh, they got taken out by the arrow to the clavicle?
Yes.
He's
yes.
pinned to the ground.
The Segway is all up in Arethor's grill right now. So he would be in very close range to Sadie.
Oh, the Segway is.
The Segway, yeah.
Oh. Oh, dang. Hi, I didn't see you come here.
They're kind of closing the distance.
Which is in very close range to our alchemist.
Yep.
Wow. I want to make a wall, and I have some questions about walls. Like, how far is very far distance? Because it says use an action that can create a temporary wall of magical flame between 2 points within far range. So how far is far?
I want to say I think it's like 6 squares on a grid.
Oh, you
And
can
so I
walk
think,
around it. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think it's like 30 feet away, give or take.
This is the least useful environment in which to build a wall is an open field because they can just walk around it. If we
That's
were in
true.
like a hallway, I would make
Yeah.
a wall, but we're not. So I'm just going to not make a wall. Okay. So I can't in D&D you can like cleverly draw your wall and make it a circle and stuff and like you can't do
Oh,
here. It's a straight
that's
line.
cool.
So yeah, it's not happening. All right.
Oh, does it explicitly say like straight line?
With it, a magical flame between 2 points. So I guess technically it doesn't
Oh.
have to be a straight line. Wait, 2 points within 6 squares. Okay, I'm going to have you think about 3-dimensional space for a second.
Okay.
All right,
Like a
I'm going to draw a circle between... I'm very close to this alchemist, and I'm very close to Arethor, right?
yes.
So I'm going to draw a circle around us, and the 2 points
Okay.
are within a millimeter of one another. And the line that I'm drawing is a circle. So picture like a donut, or like a clock face, an analog clock face, and
Sure.
it starts at 12, and I'm going to 11:59, and those are my 2 points.
I'm going to note that because that, but that is absolutely fantastic, thought process. So absolutely you create a circle of flame.
All right. Arethor, you're in the circle, and everyone else is outside the circle. Just me, the alchemist, and Arethor, and it's 4d10 magic damage if they pass through it.
Does it obscure vision?
It's
I don't
flame,
think it
so
does.
I mean, as much as flame would.
I would say maybe take a disadvantage if you're trying to fire or something through it, maybe.
Yeah.
'Kay.
And then the arrow takes 4d10 damage.
It's moving fast enough.
Okay, anything that passes through it.
Did you have to roll? You didn't have to roll for that, did you?
Book of Grin, level 4. Wall of
No.
Flame. Use an action to mark a
Use an
stress
action.
and create a temporary wall of magical flame
Okay.
between 2 points within far range, which I think we're within far range.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything that passes through it takes 4d10 magical
Yes.
damage. So I have my first stress
So you guys can go again.
because that didn't give them a fear.
Yep. Or it's got an action token, but yeah, I'll let you guys go.
Hoping
So-
that we generate a fear for the GM to use.
No, I'm rooting. I'm always rooting for you guys.
What is my range from this massive melee?
We'll say you're still at far.
I'm only at far now, so
Yes.
I'm closer than I was.
Oh,
And
wait, no, yeah.
I was
to
very
them.
far at the beginning.
Right. I think you were very far to the skeletons, but now the skeletons have closed that distance. So I'll just say that it's a close now.
And the Segway is still
It's now.
Is it at far as well?
Yeah, everything. I'll just say everything's at far right now.
Okay. In that case, Qigiq will go ahead.
Just to let you know, you can move and make an action. So you can.
I
move
understand.
very far
I'm going to
if you need.
start moving in closer, because the
Okay,
skeletons are going to be much closer work. But I can still help out with that Segway
Sure.
on the way in. But I'm not going to use just an arrow. Actually, skinning it. Segway pulls out a special arrow that's got this big vial of goop on the end of it. It's a heavy arrow, so it doesn't go as far. And he is going to shoot the Segway guy with a corrosive projectile. So this is using my spell casting instead of my agility. And I have to take a stress. If I succeed, I get a stress. Or no, they get a stress and magic damage. And their difficulty value will go down as well. But let's see how this goes. Let's get
their
through it first.
difficulty value goes down. That's interesting.
Yeah, it melts their armor, I guess.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
I don't have to do any hope for this, and I don't have any way to boost it. So let's see. And the roll is a 19 with hope.
You got him.
So what it says, mark a stress to deal. So that's my stress. I mark a stress to deal the magic damage using my proficiency, and then the target's difficulty value is temporarily reduced by 1.
Okay, cool.
So the damage is 12.
12. So it does 1 point of damage. It is in very bad shape. You can add your description if you like.
Right. So this arrow with like a vial strapped to the end. It's not a very good arrow. It I have a different range band. I mean, it barely flies, and it like smacks into the Segway, and all this corrosive goop gets all over its screen, and you see the screen start delaminating on the side, and you get little rainbow flickers through the screen, and it's obviously hurting. As Qigiq and Fluff start coming in closer, still scanning to make sure there's no other threats other than the skeletons once the Segway's gone. But that's my action.
Okay. So I'm out of fear, and no one... you guys all keep rolling with hope and succeeding. So it's up to you guys next.
Right, but we're putting action tokens on. You just have to play the conversion, right?
Yeah, no, there's only one action token now. Wait, I can't read that. I can't read my own writing. Nope, there's only one because Qigiq went.
Okay. I think because the Segway is how close now to us inside the Ring of Fire?
It's still the same distance, but there's a wall of fire between you.
Yep. I am going to talk. I'm assuming I can see this Segway enough that I can continue talking into its virtual mind and suggest it's a bit hot under the collar. And I'm going to do that fireball mechanically again to see if I can convince it that it's melting from within.
It's also a circle, so you could convince it to cross from like 2 to 3 o'clock, and pass through that wall twice.
I don't think I can make someone close on me, unfortunately.
Or just like take 10 steps and just like walk through that wall twice, and then you'd have 8d10 damage because it's a circle, so you can draw like a tangent line, just but like scoot around. Just saying.
Yeah, I can't make them do things. I don't have that ability, unfortunately.
Higher level bard.
Aside from attacking an ally, that's the only thing I can like make them do.
Yeah, I'm just preparing to trip so many people through this wall of fire and then back out.
It'd be so good. This is an 18 with hope.
Okay.
Hope again.
And the Segway needs to make a reaction roll.
Okay.
With a DC of 12.
DC of 12, you say? It does not make it.
So it is going to take 21 magic damage from being convinced that it is melting from within.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so
You're like
as
those
you
gurus who stick a quarter on someone's arm and they tell them that it's burning, and then they lift the quarter and there's a welt.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just speak into the minds, make you believe something is happening so hard that it happens.
you see the segue kind of melt away as it says one more thing. It says, "How do things that are so inconsequential cause so much damage?" And it fades away. You feel actually everybody can kind of feel the ritual end. Not so much because of the stopping of the chanting and the dancing, so much as hush. The area you're in now feels so much better. It feels like it's like you're coming into a new town for vacation or something great just happened. That's what everything feels like now. And the skeletons kind of collapse into bones. The grocery manager has basically fainted out of terror. But the alchemist nearly collapses on the ground, and she says, "It's done. It's cleared. You boy," she points at Qigiq. "Can you get me another one of those whiskeys?"
No, I'm not helping you with your addiction.
That's all right. We could go back to town and get some.
I go to the grocery manager and I give him, 50 gold coins, and I push them, but not through the wall of fire, back into their own plane, and I throw their kite after them. And I'm like, "Thanks. Bye."
That's good that she can return people who have been iskai'd back to their hometown.
Hopefully gold is your currency. Bye.
Little do you know, he works at Safeway, and he's like set for life now because you just gave him $1 million worth of gold.
That is my intention. Yeah. Because 50 gold coins, I was going to look up the weight and I was going to be all cool. And I was like, no, I'm tired.
It's 1 pound.
1 pound of gold. Have fun.
It's a lot of
50
gold.
pounds of gold, yeah. She says, "Let's go back to town, but perhaps we can worry about those missing artifacts tomorrow," she says. "But, you're all young. You got to help an old lady here. I'm 1,500 years old. I'm 1,500 years old. I'm not as spry as I used to be," she says. She's kind of gesturing for some assistance.
I mean, I'm over half dead, but Arethor will walk over and put one of her arms over his shoulder. I'm not sure what that is in cat years, but very well.
I second wind you, Arethor.
Ooh, and what do I get back for that?
I have to punch a skeleton, and then you get I just keep punching the skeleton, and then I can clear a hit point of an ally who's within close range of me.
Ooh, I
have to succeed
take that.
on with hope, but it's fine. I'll
take that hit point. Now I'm only half dead.
There you go. You're fine. I bludgeoned the skeleton until I got a success with hope.
Lovely.
And with that, the fire-breathing kittens have completed their quest, and perhaps we will find out what happened to those artifacts another time. But
Epilogue.
Yeah,
tell us what happened.
So the alchemist needs to recover, but she does. Once you get her back to the thirsty tree, she uses the seeing stone, which is now no longer a piece of quartz, but it's pretty much your bog type crystal ball. She uses it to notify everybody in the kingdom of the attack. And so things are starting to move. Word obviously gets out in hush, but per usual, the fire-breathing kittens are the talk of the town for their heroics. And you're promised that if you want it, the job about those original missing artifacts will be ready if you'd like to. And of course, everybody can do something if they want to. That's part of their epilogue.
Arethor will take a little bit of time before leaving Hush to very quietly and sneakily, as a Slyborn, I will find a safe place to hide to try and watch and see what Hop is up to Just catch that final glimpse before I head out.
Hop, aside when she's not at the Thirsty Tree or at home, she has her new law offices of Hop and Associates.
So Hop has become a lawyer.
Maybe she didn't. Maybe she was more inspired by Arethor than she let on. How about Sadie or Qigiq?
The chocobos finally reached the other towns, and everybody's like, yeah, we know. We knew like 3 days ago. And then they are released upon the world. Maybe there's a big old auction, like how they rally up wild horses and sell them sometimes. And they're like, we got all these chocobos. It's either meet or ride. Which do you want to do? And the chocobos are like, honk, honk, honk. They're all as intelligent as people.
Qigiq organizes a chocobo rescue mission to ensure they live out with dignity.
Yeah.
And anything else, or we want to wrap it up? Okay. So that was our episode for today. Joining us today was Qigiq.
Thanks for listening.
And Sadie.
Bye.
And Arethor.
Bye, all. Come back again.
Bye.
On Arts Educators Save the World, we talk with artists and their mentors to discuss the transformative work that happens in arts education. We began with Lin-Manuel Miranda and his elementary school music teacher, and mine, Barbara Ames.
The direct education we got from Barbara, it was life-changing.
And since then, we've spoken with Cecily Strong, Josh Radner, Annalie Ashford, Robert Lopez, and so many others, each with their mentors. Join us again as we begin Season 2 of Arts Educators Save the World, available everywhere.